Chapter 221. Yinran glared at Xiao Xiao. What's going on? Speak clearly. Xiao Xiao's voice became lower and lower. I told you last time that I wanted to find the antidote for the spiritual transformation pill. So I used a trick and she fell for it. What trick? Speak louder. Xiao Xiao didn't close his eyes and stretched out his neck. A honey trap. But that was fake. Yinran, don't be angry. Xiao Xiao quickly explained. Then she fell for it. Didn't she and her grandfather want me to join them? They offered many tempting conditions, and I used the opportunity last time to steal the book on the spiritual transformation pill. But I didn't find the antidote, so I told them that I would consider it again. But I didn't expect Yi Xuanfei to be so persistent. When I left, she told me that she would come to our school. I thought she was joking, but I just received a WeChat message from her saying that she has arrived at the school. I've read the book you wrote down for the spiritual transformation pill. It has the recipe for the antidote. Xiao Zhao's eyes widened and he asked in surprise, Yinran, you know how to refine pills? I learned it for a while, but I'm not proficient. The spiritual transformation pill and the antidote are not things that people like me can refine without spiritual power can do. The higher the cultivation of the person refining the pill, the better the quality of the pill. Xiao Zhao's eyes lit up. That means Yinran, you have the skills and I have magical power. Do you think we can refine the antidote together? One of the herbs, the immortal vanquishing grass, is extremely difficult to find and has long disappeared from the market. The aristocratic families of the East must have it. Otherwise, how could they refine the antidote? We also need a very good alchemy cauldron. We don't have any of these. Xiao Xiao had unknowingly sat beside Yinran. He held Yinran's hand. Yinran, don't be discouraged. Since we have a goal, we will definitely find a way. I think the aristocratic families of the East should have what we lack. Or we can find it on the market. My crown princess will not suffer for nothing. They will pay for it with their blood. Yinran looked at Xiao Zhao's determined eyes and was touched. Xiao Xiao, there are some things that we just have to try our best. Don't cause any more harm on you because of me. Yinran, I'm fine. But I may have to deal with this Yi Xuanfei. Yinran sighed. Thank you, Xiao Xiao. It's been hard on you for me. Since Yi Xuanfei has sent herself to me, I won't be polite. The aristocratic families of the East have now violated the oath of the cultivation world. Even if I have to enforce justice on behalf of the heavens, I will find a way to take them down. Yinran's eyes were filled with endless fighting spirit. So what if she didn't have spiritual power now? She still had her brain and Xiao Xiao. As long as she was alive, she would exterminate the demons. After Yi Xuanfei sent Xiao Xiao a WeChat message, she only replied to one of every 10 messages. She opened the video of him and Yinran having a meal on the internet 2 days ago. His gaze was so affectionate that it was as if he had placed Yinran in a jar of candy. The comments on the internet actually placed her in the position of a concubine. As the princess of the aristocratic families of the East, she should be the main wife. How could she be a concubine? If Yinran wants to be a concubine, she has to ask for my permission first. Once I've dealt with Xiao Xiao, it'll be as easy as crushing an ant for me to deal with. Yi Xuanfei's admission procedures had been completed. Coincidentally, she and Yinran were in the same major. This meant that the two of them would have to meet frequently in the future. A little grasshopper without spiritual power. What's so good about her? Just wait and see. Yinran hadn't been idle during this period. She had been desperately collecting evidence of the aristocratic families of the East. Although the case of the pharmaceutical company had been solved, the traces were inseparable from the aristocratic families of the East. Just based on the fact that Xiao Xiao had seen Yu Tian and Old Master Yi meeting, it was certain that they were colluding. However, the emails she had sent through a special channel were like stones thrown into the sea. Yinran keenly felt that something was fishy. She specially asked her grandfather about this matter and sorted out the relationship between superiors and subordinates that she hadn't figured out before. The cultivation world was like a special force of the country. They enjoyed the country's subsidies, and at the same time, they had to accept the country's management. Their direct leader used to be Minister Tian, but after the Golden Age incident, it was replaced by his deputy, Minister Zhou. From time to time, missions would be sent through other channels. At the national level, only a few people knew of their existence. That was why the direct leader had the final say. Yanran sensitively felt that the aristocratic families of the East were so brazenly taking down the aristocratic families of the South in one fell swoop, and desperately trying to accumulate wealth. Could it be that the management of the aristocratic families of the East was lax because of the turnover of personnel? Or was it that the aristocratic families of the East were so well hidden that even the higher-ups didn't notice? The aristocratic families of the East colluded with the officials of various regions to form the most convenient way to accumulate wealth. The higher-ups were high and mighty, so they must have been deceived. Yanran thought of the email she had sent. She suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. Would she have been stopped halfway by the colluding officials? Fortunately, she didn't sign her name. Otherwise, she would have been dead long ago. The day after she sent the email, Elder Yi met with Yution. Could it be that they wanted to solve the issue of her email? It had to be said that Yanran's brain was smart. She strung together a string and guessed ******* correctly. However, she never thought that a fact that she had never doubted would be proven to be a slap in the face later. Finding the antidote for the panacea was one thing, but her mission and responsibility couldn't be chosen based on the size of her ability. What she was facing now was darkness, and above the darkness might be an endless abyss. She was like a warrior in armor. Even if she only had the strength of one person, she would pierce through the sky. Now Yanran was in the darkest moment, but she believed that it was the darkness before dawn. During this period of time, she had been secretly contacting the cultivators from the aristocratic families of the South. Some of them had joined the aristocratic families of the East, while others were still wandering outside. First, she had to unite these wandering cultivators and inform them of the evil deeds that the aristocratic families of the East had done and the harm they had brought to mankind. She believed that justice was always in the hearts of the people. Although their power was still very small now, there would be a day when they accumulated a lot. Yanran now had a lot of work to do every day. Other than going to school, she assigned the clues given by Xiao Xiao and Huagang to her newly formed team. She asked them to investigate further and collect all the cases related to the aristocratic families of the East. At the same time, she restored the allowance given by the country and reimbursed all the expenses in the process. Yanran knew that she owed Xiao Xiao too much, but now she could only rely on Xiao Xiao's financial resources to help the aristocratic families of the South revive. All of this had been carried out in secret, but the real thing was that she had to face Yi Xuanfei's provocation and difficulties. Ever since school started, Yi Xuanfei had become a popular figure in the school. Firstly, it was because she was an exchange student from the Northern University. Secondly, it was because of her family background. Thirdly, it was because of her charm. This was also the effect that Yi Xuanfei wanted to create. She wanted Xiao Xiao to see her excellence, and the title of the school belle naturally went to Yi Xuanfei. Yanran had always kept a low profile in school. Huagang's matter had affected her, but later on, many people knew that Xiao Xiao was her boyfriend. Now that Yi Xuanfei had appeared, the entire school knew that Yi Xuanfei was Xiao Xiao's suitor. As long as Xiao Xiao looked for Yanran for a meal, Yi Xuanfei would definitely be there. Brother Bai Shui and the rest were suspicious of Yanran. Aren't those your boyfriends? Why are they acting like her boyfriends? Yi Xuanfei and Xiao Xiao's attitude was that they neither admitted nor denied it. They kept everyone in suspense, including Yi Xuanfei. Everyone else had the time to wait for the answer to be revealed, but Yi Xuanfei couldn't wait. She saw with her own eyes how much Xiao Xiao cared for Yanran, and her eyes turned red. She did everything she could to occupy Xiao Xiao's time. As long as Xiao Xiao didn't have classes, she would play truant to pester him. But Xiao Xiao was sometimes good and sometimes bad towards her. Later on, she discovered a pattern. When Yanran was around, Xiao Xiao would be more distant from her. When Yanran wasn't around, Xiao Xiao would deliberately be more affectionate towards her. Holding hands or holding arms was very natural. Yi Xuanfei felt that Xiao Xiao still liked her, but he probably liked Yanran more. It would be great if Yinran took the initiative to withdraw. That day, when Xiao Xiao said that he had to accompany Yinran to a lecture, and didn't have time to accompany her, she finally exploded. In the afternoon, Yi Xuanfei found Yinran and forcefully dragged her to a secluded place. She tied her to a tree and patted her face, ordering her from above. Yinran, you have nothing now. What else do you have to be worthy of Xiao Xiao? You should be more self-aware and withdraw from him. Xiao Xiao is still with you now because he takes pity on you. You have to know that his world is incomparably vast, and only I can be his strongest backing. Are you really willing to just be a concubine? You have to be clear about your status. Find an ordinary person and marry him. This is the best ending for you. Don't be delusional about Xiao Xiao. If you insist on fighting with me, you have to consider carefully. Do you want to lose this beautiful face or this pure body? Yinran's cold face revealed a look of disdain. I have nothing now, but I have Xiao Xiao. You have everything now, but you don't have Xiao Xiao. Yi Xuanfei was poked at where it hurt, and her face immediately contorted. She used her spiritual power and slapped Yinran's face. Yinran's mouth immediately bled. Yi Xuanfei finally felt better. Just wait and see. Soon you won't even have Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao has me in his heart. You don't know, right? He already went to my house and stayed at night. Do you want to see a photo of us in the room? Yi Xuanfei found a photo of her wearing short pajamas. Although she had a coat over her, the skirt only reached her thighs. In the photo, Xiao Xiao was sitting on the sofa, and she leaned against Xiao Xiao. This was a photo she had secretly taken that night. The angle was a little strange, but it looked really intimate. Yinran only looked at the photo coldly, and didn't say anything. She knew that she couldn't win against her now. There was no point in arguing with her. The first time was just a warning. If I see you pestering Xiao Xiao again, it won't be so easy in the future. After saying that, Yi Xuanfei laughed wildly and turned to leave. Chapter 222. After Yinran regained her freedom, she laughed coldly and patted her clothes. She took out her phone and turned off the recording function. Then, she casually edited a few clips and opened the school's forum to upload the audio clip online. Yi Xuanfei hadn't gone far yet. She was delighted that she was able to reprimand Yinran openly just now. Ever since she was young, she had always wanted this kind of feeling, the feeling of being able to step on Yinran and rub her under the soles of her feet. She had come here for Xiao Xiao, and also to regain the humiliation of being second place for 1,000 years. But just as she was about to slap herself, her phone suddenly rang. Yi Xuanfei saw that it was a call from Xiao Xiao, and she excitedly picked it up. The moment she called him Brother Qiao, the smile on her face disappeared. This was the first time Xiao Xiao had shouted at her. If you dare to lay a finger on Yinran, I'll throw you into the beggar's camp, and you'll have nightmares for the rest of your life. She thought that Yinran wouldn't dare to tell Xiao Xiao. She didn't expect that she would be accused before she could even take 2 steps. Yi Xuanfei was so angry that she returned to the classroom to prepare for class. A group of people looked at her strangely. She shouted at one of the girls. What are you looking at? Haven't you seen a beautiful girl before? But she didn't expect that the girl wasn't easy to deal with either. Yo, you have quite a temper. But I've never seen a homewrecker who comes knocking on my door. Yi Xuanfei rushed forward to beat the girl up. The girl looked at Yi Xuanfei's aggressive manner and said as she ran, Your words have already been posted online. Don't you think you're embarrassing yourself? Yi Xuanfei then picked up her phone and saw that a post on the forum had already been pinned at the top. Hashtag suspected homewrecker and scrupulously threatens the wife. Hashtag below was an audio clip. Yinran had cut out the beginning and the end. There were countless comments below. Frowny face. Milk tea is delicious. F***ck. Are all girls so fierce these days? Highlight. A beautiful face or a pure body. Occupying a seat in the library. The homewrecker's jealousy is too scary. The school hunk is my brother. Brother Qiao is still the most charming. 2 girls fighting for the same guy. Nice to see. Bunny 8 watching spiders from above. She's the concubine from last time, right? She's the new campus belle. Did she chase after Nanchuan? Brother Qiao, think about it. Lemon guard. Homewreckers should be dragged out and whipped. Where your heart desires. It depends on Brother Qiao's attitude. Who is the mistress? Passers-by. Of course she's the mistress. Drag her out and chop her up. Past reset. Of course she's the mistress. Drag her out and chop her up. +1. Blooming flowers for you. Of course she's the mistress. Drag her out and chop her up. +2. Mr. Glabella. Of course this is the mistress. Drag her out and chop her up. +3. Yi Xuanfei's hand trembled as she held the phone. Yinran, you're amazing. Yi Xuanfei dashed out of the school. Yinran had won the first round. After Yi Xuanfei returned home, her servants were the unluckiest. Not only were they scolded by her, but they were also punished to kneel. One of the servants was kicked out of the window by Yi Xuanfei because she didn't kneel properly. She threw everything she could get her hands on. A beautiful porcelain object hit the servant's head, and fresh blood flowed down her forehead. Yi Xuanfei was delighted. She then treated the servants as Yinran, and threw all sorts of sharp objects at them. The servants lay on the ground and didn't dare to dodge. Soon, they were covered in injuries. It wasn't the first time Yi Xuanfei treated them like this. The only thing they could do to these pitiful servants was to bear with it. What made Yi Xuanfei the angriest was that Yinran was inferior to her in every way. She even set a trap for her, and Qiao Xiao was so protective of her. Just as she was venting her anger, Qiao Xiao's WeChat message came in. When I called you in the afternoon, Yinran was beside me. What did that mean? Yi Xuanfei's mind seemed to have come back to life. Was Qiao Xiao explaining? After a while another message came. Let's have dinner together another day. Yi Xuanfei immediately replied. No, let's have dinner tonight. Qiao Xiao handed the phone to Yinran. I've coaxed her. I'm going to have dinner with her tonight. Yinran glanced at him and said sourly. You're really charming. Qiao Xiao hugged Yinran from behind and said intimately. My Yinran, are you jealous? Yinran immediately pushed him away with a red face. Don't call me Yinran. Qiao Xiao whispered in her ear. I know, it's not the right time and place. After Qiao Xiao sent Yinran home, he asked Yi Xuanfei out. Come out for dinner, don't starve. When Yi Xuanfei appeared in a private room that Qiao Xiao had booked, Qiao Xiao's handsome face was on full display. His carefully groomed eyes bloomed only for Yi Xuanfei, and Yi Xuanfei was immediately mesmerized. Xuanfei, it's not right for you to do this. Won't this make the family restless in the future? You and Yinran will be my people in the future. If you're so jealous, you won't be able to live. You were the one who said last time that you would allow Yinran to exist. Yi Xuanfei bit her lower lip and said pitifully, You won't even accompany me. You only have eyes for Yinran. Who said I won't accompany you? Who's eating with you now? Come, open your mouth and have a bite of fish. How could Yi Xuanfei resist Qiao Zhao's gentle advances? She squeezed into Qiao Zhao's arms and hooked her arms around Qiao Zhao's neck. She said intimately, You haven't kissed me before. Qiao Xiao turned his head to avoid her and tapped her little nose. I'm a very conservative person. I respect you girls. I haven't kissed Yinran before either. I want to save the best for our wedding day. Yi Xuanfei's mouth opened so wide that an egg could be stuffed in. Brother Qiao, are you serious? I don't believe it. Of course it's true. I'm very opposed to overly intimate actions before marriage. Qiao Xiao said it so seriously that Yi Xuanfei was skeptical. But since Qiao Xiao had said so, she couldn't take the initiative. But she sat on Qiao Zhao's lap and leaned against Qiao Zhao's chest. Then she took out her phone and took a photo of the two of them. This is your promise to me. Kong Ming and Kong Xiaoming were rolling on the floor laughing in the bracelet. The difference in treatment from Yinran was too obvious. Then what will you do in the future? Then I won't find trouble with Yinran next time. Yi Xuanfei pouted. That's more like it. Go back and sit properly. No, I just want to sit on you. I just said to be obedient. Then give me a kiss. I said I won't kiss. Then I want to kiss you. Yi Xuanfei raised her head and was about to kiss Qiao Zhao's thin lips. Qiao Xiao tilted his head and avoided it. I like reserved girls. Yinran is better than you. Yi Xuanfei was unhappy when she heard Qiao Zhao's words. She had no choice but to return to her seat. Qiao Xiao saw that she was unhappy and rolled his eyes. It's not impossible for me to like you. But I have my eyes on something. Xiao Xiao deliberately dragged out the last word and waited for Yi Xuanfei to continue. What do you have your eyes on? I'll give it to you. Yi Xuanfei was being led around by Xiao Xiao. The last time I went to your house, I realized that the cauldron you used to refine pills was quite cute. Give me one. That's easy. We have plenty of them at home. I'll get someone to send you a dozen. You have the cheek to give me an ordinary one? I want the best. Xiao Xiao was back. He sat on the chair and rocked back and forth in a relaxed manner. Yi Xuanfei loved to see Xiao Xiao's casual and lazy look. He was so handsome. She immediately patted her chest and promised, I'll steal the one that my grandfather treasured and give it to you. Really? You're not lying to me? It's just that only the best is worthy of me. Yi Xuanfei agreed. Only the best, including herself, was worthy of Xiao Xiao. Then Brother Qiao, you have to give me a reward, right? Yi Xuanfei was not so easy to get rid of. Xiao Xiao moved closer to Yi Xuanfei's ear. He rolled his tongue, and a stream of moist saliva brushed past Yi Xuanfei's earlobe. A current ran through Yi Xuanfei's body, and she was immediately stunned. Xiao Xiao continued, I'm leaving first. Go back early. It was only 5 minutes after Xiao Xiao left that Yi Xuanfei regained her senses. She walked around the room 3 times and stomped her feet. She screamed in her heart, Xiao Xiao, I want you. After a few days, Yi Xuanfei finally returned to school. But this time, she was arrogant because Xiao Xiao had entered the school with her. She went straight home for the cauldron that Xiao Xiao liked. When her grandfather wasn't looking, she stole a precious cauldron that was used to refine pills. It was about a foot tall and looked like a small hot pot. Xiao Xiao frowned and looked at the cauldron in disdain. He asked Yi Xuanfei directly, Are you asking me to put duck feet, pig intestines, fish fillets, pigeons, and little sheep in it? Brother Qiao, do you think this is a hot pot? This is a cauldron used to refine pills. Grandpa got this from somewhere, and it's the most precious treasure in our family. Look at this cauldron, it's surrounded by spiritual energy. One look, and you can tell it's a top-grade item. Yi Xuanfei proudly introduced it to Xiao Xiao. Brother Qiao, send me to school today. Xiao Xiao looked at the cauldron thoughtfully. He was going to school too, and they were going in the same direction. In the end, he went along with Yi Xuanfei's plan. Brother Qiao, what's wrong? Aren't you happy with this cauldron? Xiao Xiao said to her in disdain. You only gave me a cauldron. How can I refine pills? Why don't you help me get some herbs? Yi Xuanfei didn't expect Xiao Xiao to really want to refine pills. Brother Qiao, I thought you didn't know how to refine pills? Do you really want to learn? Xiao Xiao immediately came back to his senses. He blinked his charming eyes and said, Aren't you my best teacher? With you around, what can I not learn? But my dear teacher, when can you teach me? I'm free anytime, as long as Brother Qiao needs me. Yi Xuanfei was overjoyed. She wanted to touch Xiao Xiao's chest passionately. Then I'll ask you out when the materials are here. I'll wait for your good news. Xiao Xiao pulled Yi Xuanfei's hand away and winked at her. He blew her a kiss and left with the cauldron. Chapter 223. Yanran looked at the cauldron that Xiao Xiao had placed in front of her. Are you sure it's for alchemy? Why does it look like a small hot pot? I was a little suspicious at first, but Yi Xuanfei patted her chest and assured me that it was her family's treasure. She had stolen it behind her grandfather's back. Really? Then let's try it. Yanran took out the herbs she had prepared and prepared to try it according to the alchemy method she had learned before. Xiao Xiao, prepare the demonic aura and heat up this cauldron later. Yanran first put a herb in, then gave Xiao Xiao a look. Xiao Xiao quickly put his palms together and covered the cauldron. The herbs in the cauldron seemed to be permeated by heat and gradually began to change. The green leaves gradually shrank and curled up together. The heat was not hot. Xiao Xiao did not dare to use too much demonic aura at first. The herbs in the cauldron were now shyly curled up in the warm temperature. But after a long time, it was like a frog being boiled in warm water. The herbs gradually dried up and lost their moisture, curling up into a yellow strip. Then, they gradually turned black and became withered grass. Aya Yanran, I'm sorry. It's okay, Xiao Xiao, do your best again. The book says that you have to learn to control the heat. Yin ran through another herb in. Xiao Xiao tried to control his strength, but it was either too big or too small. The herbs either changed or withered. It was impossible to refine them into powder. Xiao Xiao tried a few times. His hands were sore, but there was no effect. He could not help but feel a little discouraged. It's okay, Xiao Xiao, do your best again. Yinran would always say this. No matter how many times Xiao Xiao failed, Yinran would always encourage him. Xiao Xiao was encouraged by this. Every failure became a touchstone for him, and the next time, he would be even more successful. Yinran was just like that. She seemed to have a kind of magic and determination that made people willing to believe in her. At the same time, her eyes were always a kind of affirmation and encouragement to others. This made Xiao Xiao still think that he would definitely succeed, even after failing hundreds of times. After every failure he would shout with Yinran, "It's okay. Come on, try again." Although there were only two of them, they seemed to have gathered the strength of a team. There was no perfect individual, but there was definitely a perfect team. Later they changed their method. Yinran brought over a basin of water with a thermometer in it. Come Xiao Xiao, let's start from 0 degrees. I need you to be accurate to every degree. Alright Yinran, we will definitely succeed. Xiao Xiao slowly grasped the method of heating with demonic qi. Refining pills was very particular, especially the effect of spiritual power or demonic qi on the temperature of the pill. In the end, it determined the quality of the pill. This was written clearly in the book. However, this temperature could not be measured with a human thermometer. Secondly, it depended on the state of Xiao Xiao's own pill. In the end, it would communicate with Xiao Xiao. Yinran said, "A good pill also has spiritual awareness. When you truly refine a pill with spiritual awareness, then it will be considered a success." But Yinran, we still haven't found the immortal execution grass. Why do we have to start practicing? Learning alchemy is a long process. Without 1 or 2 years, we won't be able to enter the door. Even if we find the immortal execution grass, we won't be able to quickly refine it. It's better to practice our own basic skills first. If one day we find the immortal execution grass, then we can refine the antidote for the spiritual transformation pill. Alright Yinran, I'll listen to you. I'll support you with all my strength. Although Yinran didn't have spiritual power, she had always been like the backbone of Xiao Xiao. As long as Yinran was there, Xiao Xiao didn't have to worry about anything. He was like a 100% executor, carrying out Yinran's orders perfectly. Therefore, this 2-person team was more powerful than a 100-people team. Xiao Xiao's company's helmets were selling very well, and orders were pouring in. He had also signed a few other artists under his company, and his performance was improving day by day. Jing Shu helped him find a few endorsements, and she wanted Xiao Xiao to take them. Xiao Xiao waved his pen and let the newcomers go first. Jing Shu rolled her eyes. "Boss, they specifically asked you to be the endorser. If you change people, no one will agree." Zhang Daong quietly snuck in. "Brother Qiao, there's an order. Jutian Entertainment is also fighting for it." Xiao Xiao heard. "Why didn't you say so earlier? I'll take this order." Zhang Daong knew that Jiotian Entertainment was Brother Qiao's nemesis. He didn't know how he had offended Xiao Xiao, but he was on his own. Zhang Daong only knew that he couldn't offend Xiao Xiao. Only by hugging onto Xiao Xiao's thigh could he run towards the golden road of wealth. In university, there was plenty of time. Rather than being pestered by Yi Xuanfei on campus, he might as well go out and do something serious. This time it was a movie role. The director took the initiative to hand over the script. Later on, Xiao Xiao found out that it was director Lin who had taken a fancy to him when he was filming a mineral water commercial. His script was a youth idol drama, and Xiao Xiao was the most suitable male lead. He satisfied all the girls' fantasies. He was young, promising, youthful, charming, and extremely talented. He was simply a replica of Xiao Xiao in real life. When director Lin saw this script, he immediately thought that the male lead had to be Xiao Xiao. And now, the biggest headache was that Jiotian Entertainment wanted to be the sponsor. They wanted to promote their most famous actor, Jiang Nan. The entertainment industry was like this. Celebrities were glamorous and dazzling. But the real power in the industry was still the power of capital. And after so many years of accumulation, Jyotian Entertainment had quite a lot of capital. If they stomped their feet in the industry, half of the entire entertainment industry would shake. But director Lin was a very persistent person. Although Jiang Nan's acting skills were also very good, and they had worked together before. But for this movie, it was relatively more mature and lacked a bit of youthfulness. After he tactfully rejected Jiang Nan's agent countless times, the general manager of Jyotian Entertainment, Ming Tian, directly called him. Director Lin, we are very optimistic about your new movie. But if you want to be stable, I suggest that you use an old man. Jiang Nan is an artist under our company. We are also willing to invest a portion of the funds in this movie. What do you think? Director Lin was also a stubborn person. I'm sorry, President Ming. We have already decided on the main lead. It's a newcomer with a lot of potential. He is more suitable for our movie. Jiang Nan is also very good. After this movie is finished, I will definitely look for him for the next one. Ming Tian listened to these polite words that didn't move him. Recently, Elder Yi had taken a large amount of funds from his company, which made him feel very tight. He urgently needed a large investment to make up for the previous hole. The helmet incident caused Jyotian Technology to be unable to recover. It was basically a dead shrimp. If they wanted to rise again, they needed new products and new technology. But it wasn't that easy. If Jyotian Entertainment's funds couldn't keep up, it would be a very big problem. Now, what was in front of Ming Tian wasn't how much to earn, but life and death. He had to find a way to get this project. Go and find out which actor director Lin has his eyes on. Put his detailed information on my desk within 3 days. 3 days later, a detailed information was placed on his desk. Ming Tian had just opened it when a very familiar portrait appeared in front of his eyes. His hand trembled, and the information fell on the table. F***CK, why is it him? Ming Tian's head hurt. Was this person his nemesis? This was young Mrs. Favorite. Everything that had happened at his company last time still left him with a lingering fear. Young Mrs.'s attitude and this person's ability were obviously people he couldn't afford to offend. He frowned and closed his eyes to think for a long time. Then he called Elder Yi. Elder Yi, our company is currently fighting for a very good role in a movie. If the investment is successful, the profits will be considerable. But the person competing with us for the male lead is Xiao Xiao, whom young Miss brought over last time. What do you think we should do? Elder Yi heard that this was indeed a troublesome matter. Yi Xuanfei had told him that Xiao Xiao had the intention to join their Eastern aristocratic family. If that was really the case, then the interests of their two families would be tied together in the future. Then let Xiao Xiao be the male lead. We can just invest directly. But Director Lin said that Xiao Xiao will bring in the funds directly. They already have enough funds. Now we have to think of a way to get the male lead. Only then can we bring in the funds. Where did Xiao Xiao get so much money? I heard that his family owns a mine. How about this? I'll call Xuanfei and ask her to think of a way. Grandpa, isn't it a good thing that Xiao Xiao is acting in a movie? I can't wait for him to become famous. Why do you still want to take away his resources? But his competitor is our Jyotian Entertainment. We still need to rely on it to make money. Grandpa, our family has so much money. Why do we still need this? If it doesn't work this time, we can earn more next time. This is Xiao Xiao's first time acting in a movie. Don't ruin it for him. Elder Yi and Yi Xuanfei were speechless. This granddaughter of theirs had grown up and was already in a relationship. How is your relationship with Xiao Xiao now? How far have you progressed? I'm doing well with him. Grandpa, don't worry about it. Xiao Xiao will be your grandson-in-law in the future. Then has he agreed to join our Eastern aristocratic family? He has a free personality. He doesn't want to be restricted by these things. We'll talk about it after he gets married. You're even thinking about marriage? You're in such a hurry to get married? Grandpa, you're making fun of me again. I want to get married as soon as I graduate from university. The sooner I settle Xiao Xiao, the sooner I can the better. Grandpa, won't you have another helper? Elder Yi was really speechless. After hanging up the phone, he could only tell Ming Tian, let's give up on this movie first and think of other ways. Ming Tian was anxious. Elder Yi, the company's cash flow is already in a crisis. We've invested in many movies and TV shows, but they've been stuck. We don't know when they'll be released. We still have 2 years. After 2 years, all the loans will be due. If there's no new investment returns, Jiutian Entertainment will have to close down just like Jiutian Technology. It's already reached this point. Chapter 224. Was it that serious? YSNR was shocked. Show me your latest report. YSNR looked at the report and realized the seriousness of the matter. Some of the projects they had invested in were supposed to be released on various online platforms and local TV stations, as well as cinemas. But for some reason they were all stopped. The reason was that the higher-ups have been very strict recently, and all the dramas had to go through the process again. Some of the more extreme ones had been returned for reshooting. The main reason was that they didn't know the exact reason. The connections they had made before were still there, and they didn't say anything unusual. YSNR had a keen sense of smell. He immediately ordered, Ming Tian, go and check again. Is it only our company's dramas that have been stopped, or is it the case for the entire industry? I've already checked. It seems that there's an order from the higher-ups to clean up. Other companies' dramas have also been returned, but it seems that our company's dramas have more. Could it be that it's really an unlucky year? Although Director Lin's drama is about youth idols, he's full of positive energy. It also combines the current hot topic of school violence. With Director Lin's label, it will definitely be a hit. I've heard that the higher-ups are focusing on school violence, so they want to use this movie to guide the entire society to pay attention to school violence and let the youth grow up healthily. This is really a serious drama. I've already asked the higher-ups and they said that this drama is to be filmed. After filming, they will immediately give us a permit. It seemed that this role had become a battleground for military strategists. YSNR, YSNR, YSNR. This Xiao Xiao was the person he wanted to win over. He was also Yi Xuanfei's sweetheart. However, this person looked free and unrestrained. He didn't seem to be a career-minded person, but more like a playboy. YSNR. He didn't know what kind of opportunity he had to become a master, but he didn't have much ambition. After he came to the house last time, he seemed to admire him, but there was no desire in his eyes. YSNR, YSNR, YSNR. He didn't lack money and had no weaknesses. YSNR, 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 YSNR. She wanted to refine pills to control Xiao Zhao's mind, but first of all, pills were difficult to refine. Second of all, Yi Xuanfei hadn't found an opportunity. Xiao Xiao always told her that he vomited last time. Did she want him to vomit again? Old Yi, you can't hesitate anymore. If the capital chain breaks, it'll be over. How about this? Don't let Xuanfei know about this. Go look for him personally and see what conditions he has. Yanran was the driving force behind Jiutian Entertainment's crisis. Through her constant operations, the team hidden in the shadows grew stronger and stronger. Just as Yanran thought, the Eastern aristocratic family's crazy expansion and amassing of wealth not only attracted the attention of some of the country's upper echelons, but also raised doubts in the cultivation world. Originally, the northern aristocratic families and the western aristocratic families were peacefully adhering to their duties in their own territories. However, they did not expect that after the eastern aristocratic families broke through the southern aristocratic families, they had the intention of reaching out to the northern and western aristocratic families. The reason why they did not take action was probably because the southern aristocratic families had not found a suitable successor and had not been fully integrated. After Yinran's secret operations, she found out that there were many people in the southern aristocratic families who had the same firm beliefs as her. They could not stand the actions of the eastern aristocratic families, so they drifted away. Some people who had joined the eastern aristocratic families received tasks that they could not accept, so they simply slacked off. This made Yinran more confident. It was much better to have a group of like-minded people with her than to fight alone. Her daily job was to keep in touch with the cultivators from all over the country, train them, preach their ideals and beliefs, and inform them of the evil deeds of the Eastern aristocratic families. Only the cultivators themselves could fight against the malignant tumors of the cultivators, so that the righteousness of the human world would last forever, and return the spring of the cultivation world. At the same time, Yinren also constantly told the cultivators of the Eastern aristocratic families the truth. The pills they took daily went against the natural growth of cultivators, and the price for this kind of action was a reduction in their lifespan. This kind of thing was useless once, but it gradually spread through the cultivators' world, and finally reached the ears of the cultivators of the Eastern aristocratic families, who took the pills regularly. Yinren slowly placed the crimes of the Eastern aristocratic families on her desk one by one. Yinren was not in a hurry. She picked out a few officials who were in cahoots with the Eastern aristocratic families, and reported them through normal human channels. It looked like they were all local officials, but when the cases of these local officials were strung together, it was obvious that a huge spider web was connected to Jiutian Entertainment, Jiutian Technology, and the Jiutian Group behind them. If one did not investigate, one would not have known. Yinren had the most complete picture of the Jiutian Group on her desk. Since the first listed company many years ago, the Jiutian Group had formed a huge industry. They held shares of many listed companies, many banks, securities companies, and other financial institutions. There were dozens of related companies under them. If these companies were all listed, the true owner of the Jiutian Group's assets would reach tens of billions. Over the years, the Jiutian Group had gradually changed from a blind spot in policy and market opportunism to a combination of industry and finance. With Jiutian Entertainment and Jiutian Technology as the head, many listed companies, media, and film companies as the core, and financial institutions as the core, the vertical axis of the financial industry, establishing a combination of industry and finance. According to the rough calculation of all the listed companies, the total assets of the Jiutian Group were over 100 billion. However, the most important thing was that the actual assets of Jiutian Technology and Jiutian Entertainment were shrinking year after year, and there were even problems with the flow of funds. Where did the hidden national tycoon's money go? Young Master Qiao, long time no see. How have you been? Ming Tian's face wrinkled up like a ball of crumpled tissue paper when he smiled. Xiao Xiao lazily sat in his boss's chair with his two legs on the table. He looked at Ming Tian and asked with a fake smile, "Chief Lin, you've come all the way here. What can I do for you?" No, I wouldn't dare to ask. Long time no see, young Master Qiao. I just happened to come and see what you need. What do I need? I don't need anything. Look, young Master Qiao, Director Lin has a new movie. I heard that you're interested, but our old man Yi is also interested. He asked me to tell you that as long as you're willing to let go of this movie, you can name any conditions you want. Oh, you're interested? Then what did Director Lin say? Ming Tian choked and cursed in his heart. Does Director Lin need to ask me what he said? However, he still maintained the smile on his face. Director Lin asked me to ask for your opinion. I'm quite interested in this movie. It fits my image very well, so I'd like to act in it. Oh no, there was no way to continue this conversation. Ming Tian paused for a moment, then continued to persuade. Look, what do you want to achieve? We'll help you achieve it. Xiao Xiao became even more casual. His legs on the table were already shaking. Then tell me, what do you have that I'm interested in? Ming Tian choked again. Before he came, he had racked his brains, but still couldn't think of what Xiao Xiao would want. That money, beautiful women, status, or rare treasures. Ming Tian counted with his fingers. Forget about money. If the movie I invested in is a big hit, I won't be able to finish spending the money. If you could give me that kind of profit, you probably wouldn't have come. As for beautiful women, have you asked your young mistress Yi? Would she rush over and chop you up? Xiao Xiao said slowly. When Ming Tian heard this, he instantly broke out in cold sweat. How could his mouth say the word beauty? There's also status. Previously, old Master Yi said that he would give me a position that was second only to him, and above everyone else. I still have to consider. What better position do you have? Ming Tian almost knelt down one day. But after thinking about it, if Xiao Xiao and Yi Xuanfei got married in the future, she would become his immediate superior. He couldn't offend her. He definitely couldn't offend her. As for rare treasures, I'm quite interested in that. But you have to show me what you have first before I can decide, right? Ming Tian's face revealed a relieved expression. It seemed that there was still room for discussion. As long as Xiao Xiao liked it, there was hope. Then, young Master Qiao, may I know what type of treasure you like? I like everything. As long as it's a rare treasure, especially one from the Eastern aristocratic families. It's probably not ordinary. All right, young Master Qiao, please wait for a few days. I'll go back and get them to make a list and take a photo. You can choose whatever you like. Ming Tian went back happily. This trip wasn't in vain. No matter what, there was still hope to work hard. Once Ming Tian left, Xiao Xiao called Yinran. Yinran was in class, and replied to his WeChat message that she would talk to him at night, when she was refining pills. Xiao Xiao pondered for a long time. Finally, he found a good opportunity to get the celestial execution grass. But if he asked them for it so openly, would it arouse their suspicion? Also, logically speaking, this kind of business competition was normal. Since Director Lin had taken a fancy to him, it wasn't a big deal for Jiutian Entertainment to look for another drama. Why did they have to fight with him for this one? Although Xiao Xiao was also optimistic about the success of this drama, it wasn't to the point where he had to do it. Letting him act was purely out of interest. Also, he wanted to rely on his own ability to earn money. If he always relied on Uncle Wu, wouldn't it be suspicious of him living off his parents? His Yinran was also in need of money now. He had to think of a way to earn a lot of money to satisfy Yinran. So he was still a little conflicted. After thinking for a long time, he still couldn't come to a conclusion. Xiao Xiao simply threw his phone on the table. These conflicted things should be left to Yinran. He just needed to be an obedient, handsome man. The most important thing was that Yinran would come to his house at night. It had already been 2 months since the 3-month deadline that Yinran had set last time. Every day, he would look at Yinran with hidden bitterness, but he would always be stopped by her small hand. Cultivating and refining pills filled the daily schedule for the two of them to see each other. The days of an ascetic monk were hard to endure. Chapter 225. Yinran, it's been hard on you recently. You've lost weight again. Eat some tortoise cream to nourish yourself. This tortoise lingji cream nourishes yin, moistens dryness, and reduces internal heat. You've been under a lot of pressure recently, and that bunch of Eastern aristocratic families haven't stopped either. Don't be too busy and harm your body. Tonight, Xiao Zhao's perfect face was really like a lackey, and Yinran immediately heard something fishy. What happened? Why did you call me so urgently in the afternoon? Xiao Xiao rolled his eyes. Let's get down to business first. Yinran, didn't I listen to you and prepare to earn money to repay Uncle Wu? So Zhang Daong helped me get a movie. It's directed by the famous director Lin. He took a fancy to me and asked me to play the male lead. Xiao Xiao was really proud. Our Xiao Xiao is the best. Yinran heard this, and her cold eyes curved. She sincerely praised Xiao Xiao. Then won't I be able to see our Xiao Xiao in the movie? Xiao Xiao was excited. Yinran, you also want me to act, right? I know you know me the best. I'll act well and make you proud of me. Yinran pinched his cheeks and said, good luck. However, there's trouble. Today, Ming Tian from the Eastern aristocratic families came looking for me. They also want to fight for this role. I originally didn't want to give it to them, but they said that I can raise any conditions. Do you think I can just ask them for the immortal execution grass? Then there's hope for us to get the antidote for the spiritual transformation pill. Xiao Xiao became more and more excited as he spoke. Yinran was silent. Why do they value this role so much? They didn't say, but I can see that Ming Tian cares a lot about this role. Could it be because it's director Lin's movie, so it's bound to be a big hit? Xiao Xiao raised his 2 beautiful eyebrows. No, it proves that they are very short of money right now, Yinran said with certainty. Logically speaking, the Eastern aristocratic family should be rich and overbearing. Even if they can't get this role, they won't lose out in other aspects. Last time, we messed with Jiutian technology, But Jyotian Entertainment didn't lose anything, other than the endorsement of Jelwa being snatched by me. Xiao Xiao couldn't figure it out. That was a while ago. These few blows have been quite heavy on them. Moreover, they wanted to scam loans from pharmaceutical companies, but we directly blocked their channels. Therefore, I estimate that they are now in a huge shortage of funds. There must be a problem with their cash flow. Yinran's eyes flashed with wisdom. She clenched the spoon in her hand. Xiao Xiao, it seems that our chance has come. Hearing Yinran's words, Xiao Xiao's eyes lit up with excitement. Yinran, tell me what to do. I'll listen to you. Don't give this movie to them. We'll find the opportunity to get the immortal execution grass in the future. Use this opportunity to completely cut off their cash flow. I'll cooperate with you in the surroundings. Hopefully this time they'll suffer a huge loss. Actually, this was exactly what Xiao Xiao wanted. He was also quite reluctant to give up this role that was hard to come by. However, Yinran's matter was more important. Yinran's idea was definitely right. Xiao Xiao held Yinran's hand. Yinran, don't worry. As long as the immortal execution grass is still there, I'll definitely find a way to get it for you. Yinran smiled gently. Xiao Xiao, it's fine. Don't I still have you now? Xiao Xiao was elated. Yinran, you're finally willing to rely on me. This proves that you really have me in your heart. Previously, you kept saying that you wanted to return my favor and my money. You're treating me like an outsider. You're going to be my crown princess in the future. You're the woman that I love the most in my life. If I don't grow up to be a towering tree, how can I let you rely on me? Yinran looked at his smiling eyebrows and eyes, and her heart was moved, but her mouth gently scolded. Your mouth is sweeter than honey. How many years have you practiced the skill of coaxing girls? Tell me, how old are you this year? Yinran, can we not talk about this? Xiao Xiao avoided answering. I picked an anklet for you today. After saying that, Xiao Xiao picked up a very exquisite jewelry box from the table. When he opened it, there was an exquisite and unique anklet inside. It wasn't particularly expensive. It was a thin silver chain that glowed with a silvery white luster. A few jade stones were inlaid on the chain itself. A small totem hung on the side as a tassel. It was so beautiful and exquisite. Yinran picked it up and looked at it. She wanted to wear it on her hand. Xiao Xiao snatched it away. Yinran, this is to wear on your feet. Yinran snatched it back. I know. I'll wear it on my hand to see the effect. What effect will that have? You must wear it on your ankle. I'll help you wear it. Xiao Xiao carried Yinran to the sofa. He picked up her leg from the ground and put it on his lap. Before Yinran had time to object, her ankle was lifted up by Xiao Xiao and her socks were taken off by him. A pair of snow-white slender jade feet were exposed in front of Xiao Xiao. Yinran's feet were beautiful and curvy. Her wrists and ankles were moderately fat and thin. They were beautiful and natural. Her nails were round and neatly trimmed. The arch of her feet was light and delicate. At this time, Xiao Xiao was holding them with one hand. Xiao Xiao felt that this pair of jade feet were King beautiful. The size was just right in his hand. He simply held one in each hand and played with it in the palm of his hand. Yinran was a little anxious the moment Xiao Xiao took off her socks. Her face instantly turned red. Xiao Xiao, stop. I haven't washed my feet yet. They're dirty. Xiao Xiao didn't care about Yinran at all. She hugged Yinran's feet and admired them from head to toe. Then she said, Yinran, your feet are really beautiful. Yinran was unhappy. She wanted to pull back immediately, but Xiao Xiao held her down. Why would I think you're dirty? Sit down. I'll put them on for you. Xiao Xiao was no longer naughty. He put the anklet on her delicate left ankle. The leg from calf to ankle was set off by the anklet. It was as if it was stuck in the golden section, making her ankle look more beautiful and sexy. The more Xiao Xiao looked, the more proud he became. Yinran, you have good taste, don't you? They're really beautiful. Yinran had heard of the old legend. If a boyfriend or husband helped a girl put on an anklet, or if a girlfriend or wife helped her husband put on an anklet, they would meet him or her again in their next life. They would find that girl or boy. She looked at the anklet on her feet, and her face turned even redder. Xiao Xiao was even more exaggerated. He took out his phone and took pictures of her slender feet from front to back, left and right. He said that he wanted to remember this beautiful moment. Yinren couldn't persuade him. She could only stand there and let him take pictures. In the last picture, Xiao Xiao was holding his face with her feet. Click. He froze the picture. Xiao Xiao was most satisfied with this picture. He directly set it as his screensaver. Yinren only realized this later. Wasn't this a little? However, Xiao Xiao had already finished taking pictures. He was enjoying it alone. Yinren didn't know whether to sit or stand. Her leg was pressed down by Xiao Xiao. She felt strange and awkward. She kicked Xiao Xiao with her foot. Let go of me. I'm going to come down. Xiao Xiao threw away his phone and hugged Yinran's foot. He put on a bitter face and said to Yinran, Yinran, I've been an ascetic monk for half a year. Do you think you can lift the band today? Yinran was confused. What ascetic monk? Xiao Xiao pointed at her own mouth and pouted in grievance. Then she pointed at Yinran's mouth. Yinran immediately understood what he meant. She stuttered. I still have to refine pills today. Xiao Xiao stared at her like this. His eyes became deeper and deeper, and his hands began to move. He held her feet in his hands and gently scratched the soles of her feet with his fingers. The itchy feeling immediately reflected into Yinran's brain. A series of bell-like laughter came out of Yinran's mouth. She laughed so hard that she trembled. Her feet kept kicking, trying to escape from Xiao Xiao's fingers. Xiao Xiao's playfulness was aroused. He used his fingers to press Yinran down on the sofa and desperately scratched her feet. Yinran saw that she couldn't break free, so she sat up and began to scratch Xiao Xiao's waist. The two of them were in a mess on the sofa. In the end, no one knew who pinned the other down, and no one knew who took the initiative. A wolf that had been hungry for half a year finally ate the little lamb, until there was nothing left. Aran's voice was endless. Ah Xiao. Ah Zhao's response was endless. The moonlight outside the window had already hidden in the clouds shyly. The sound of the wind seemed to be much weaker. The swaying of the branches couldn't cover the rapid breathing of the two people in the window. The two people didn't know when they rolled from the sofa to the ground, and then from the ground to the bed. The things in the room were accidentally swept to the ground by someone's hands and feet, and then they were squashed by the two people. They lay on the ground in a mess, and looked at the culprit with grievance. Kong Ming and Kong Xiaoming had already sat cross-legged in the bracelet. They covered their heads with everything available, plugged their ears, and kept chanting the mind-clearing mantra. The two of them didn't know how long they were tormenting each other. Xiao Xiao suddenly jumped up from Yinran's body and rushed into the bathroom. Then, the sound of running water could be heard. Yinran gradually woke up. Looking at the mess on the floor, she looked at her body in hindsight. Her coat had been torn open and hung messily on her body. Her white skin was dotted with red plum blossoms, as if proudly announcing how intense it was just now. 6 words burst out in Yinran's mind. Drywood meets fire. She suddenly covered her face and blushed for her boldness just now. She didn't know how this Xiao Xiao seduced her, and insisted that she leave a strawberry mark on his neck. She must have been bewitched by the devil's aura. For a moment, she lost her mind and unexpectedly bit his sexy Adam's apple. She didn't expect that that bite would make the devil's crown prince's eyes turn red. And then Xiao Xiao rushed into the bathroom. Yinran quickly tidied herself up and picked up her things. She glanced at the still flowing water in the bathroom, straightened her back, and walked stiffly out of the door and returned to her room. When Xiao Xiao returned to normal and walked out of the bathroom, he saw that Yinran was no longer there. He didn't know if he was disappointed or happy. He threw himself on the big bed and spread his limbs wide open. It seemed that Yinran did the right thing. This feeling was too good and too exciting. Every time he gave up halfway, would he really give up one day? Chapter 226. The next morning, Xiao Xiao appeared in the dining room with dark circles under his eyes. As soon as Uncle Wu saw him, he asked, "Young master, what's wrong? Yesterday Miss Yinran was here. Why couldn't you sleep well? Your dark circles are so heavy." Xiao Xiao said bitterly to Uncle Wu, "Uncle Wu, I'm too miserable now. I can see and touch, but I can't eat. In the end, I have to take a cold shower. Don't you think I'm looking for trouble? A young master, taking a cold shower is more harmful to your body. You can ask Miss Yinran for help. Although you haven't gotten married yet, but cough, your innocence doesn't matter. Xiao Xiao spat out a mouthful of porridge. Uncle Wu, what are you talking about? Young master, you're now an adult. In the devil realm, you should have a little prince. As long as you choose Miss Yinran, it's nothing. Speaking of this, Xiao Xiao became interested. Uncle Wu, do you think I should bring Yinran back to the devil realm when I get married? I also want you to go back to the devil realm, but you can't go back before you finish your experience in the human world. You can only get married in the human world. In the human world, men have to be 22 years old, and women have to be 20 years old to get married. Young master, you can get married after you graduate from university. Uncle Wu, why don't you think of a way to adjust my and Yinran's age by 2 years? I can't wait. Think of a way. What age adjustment? Yinran's voice came from the stairs. Xiao Xiao hurriedly went up. Yinran, I'm discussing our marriage with Uncle Wu to see if we can get married earlier. When Yinran heard this, her face turned red. She pinched Xiao Xiao's waist. What nonsense are you talking about? We're still young. How can we get married? Uncle Wu chimed in, young master, who can change your age? Don't even think about it. Just wait for another 2 years. Xiao Xiao was unhappy. Uncle Wu, look at Yinran's dark circles. They're as dark as mine. It's obvious that she didn't sleep well last night. Miss Yinran, I prepared some tortoise jelly this morning. Please have some more. After saying that, Uncle Wu quietly retreated, leaving the space for the two little lovers. Yinran, did you feel uncomfortable last night? Xiao Xiao put on a bitter face and gave Yinran a fried egg. Yinran directly fed Xiao Xiao a mouthful of porridge, blocking his mouth. Xiao Xiao swallowed it in one gulp and continued to mutter bitterly. I've been suffering for the whole night. It's so bitter. I told you it's not good for your body. You just can't control yourself. Now you know it's hard, right? But Yinran, I'd rather be hard. I don't want to be an ascetic monk. Xiao Xiao acted shamelessly. Yinran, I'll help you get rid of the strawberries on your neck. Why is your skin so soft? I just touched it lightly, and it left a mark. Okay, hurry up and eat. You don't have to talk about this. He moved closer to Yinran's ear and said, just now, Uncle Wu reminded me that taking cold showers is not good for the body. Do you think we should change the method next time? Yinran saw that he was getting more and more unreliable. She stuffed a big bun into his mouth and said, we'll talk about it in half a year. Xiao Xiao widened his beautiful eyes and looked at Yinran in disbelief. His eyes were full of complaints and grievances. He took the bun out of his mouth and said bitterly, Yinran, doesn't your heart hurt? Aren't you afraid of losing me? I'm a hot-blooded young man. If I'm suffocated, won't you be the one suffering in the future? Yinran ignored him. Then from today onwards we'll make some mind-clearing pills. You'll take them every day to make your blood boil, and your heart as calm as water. What do you think? Xiao Xiao immediately turned back to a flattering smile and said, half a year is half a year. But we agreed that you'll feed me for half a year. Well, not only will I feed you, but I'll also make you vomit. I'm going to vomit. Yinran's face turned red from laughing. Xiao Xiao put his arms around Yinran's waist and swayed back and forth. He smiled proudly and said, Yinran, you've been led astray by me. You're almost as fast as the Fuxing ship. After discussing it with Yinran, Xiao Xiao decided to take a leave of absence from school and focus on the filming of the film. Before he left, he sent a WeChat message to Yi Xuanfei and told her that he wouldn't be at school for half a year. He had 3 requests. First, she wasn't to cause trouble for Yinran. Second, she had to find good herbs for him. Third, she had to be obedient and miss him. When Yi Xuanfei heard that he was leaving in such a hurry, she insisted on seeing him. Xiao Xiao could only take a selfie at the airport and send it to her. When Yi Xuanfei rushed to the airport, the plane had already taken off. After Yi Xuanfei returned to school, the first thing she did was to check if Yinran was around. When she saw that Yinran was in class, she felt better. Xiao Xiao didn't ask her or Yinran to send anything. It seemed that he still had a conscience. Unlike Xiao Xiao and Yinran, Jotian Entertainment was dead. Ming Tian hadn't even prepared the list of rare treasures when he received a call from Xiao Xiao rejecting him. In less than 2 days, the film crew had officially started filming. Jotian Entertainment was completely dead. Not only that, he received a call from Yi Xuanfei. Ming Tian, you're so bold now. You even dare to steal Xiao Xiao's scenes. He'll be your boss in the future. Don't try to touch him, or I'll make things difficult for you. Ming Tian was so angry that he smashed his phone. What was going on? He worked so hard for the Eastern aristocratic family, but he didn't expect that there would be someone dragging him down. Now this path was completely blocked. It seemed that he had to go to the various SARFD headquarters and try to get the backlog of scenes released quickly. Xiao Xiao's drama this time was a youth school drama. It was adapted from a real incident, and the filming location was in a relatively backward county high school. It told the story of how Xiao Xiao transferred to this county high school because of his family's work. There used to be a very powerful gang in the school, and the teachers and students were all afraid of them. One day, a female student was bullied in school, and Xiao Xiao happened to find out. When he stood up for her, the gang in the school targeted him. As a foreign student, Xiao Xiao was met with setbacks everywhere. However, due to his intelligence and his extraordinary taekwondo skills, he was able to fight against the gang. In the process of fighting against the gang, he encouraged and united a group of righteous students, and finally brought the gang to justice. The movie emphasized that the more afraid you were, the more you could let the bad guys get away with it. Only by raising your fists and fighting against the bad guys could you fight for a clear sky. When Xiao Xiao first saw the script, his blood was boiling. He liked the feeling of being a hero the most. He felt that this was his true character. He was born to be a hero, after living in the human world for so many years. Ever since he met the cultivators, he had lived a very sullen life. This time, he could finally hold his head high in a movie. Xiao Xiao had never acted in a movie before, but the director encouraged him. What I want is to be like a small invisible person in the entertainment industry. As long as you act well and immerse yourself in the role, you will definitely succeed. The female lead he was partnered with was called Guan Ren. She was a girl who was bullied in school. She looked weak and pure, and made people want to protect her. It had to be said that director Lin's casting standards were quite high. His vision was very sharp. With these two people's looks, as long as their acting skills were good, the movie was already halfway to success. Xiao Xiao was eloquent, generous and handsome. As soon as he entered the cast, he was welcomed by everyone. The place they were in was close to the mountains. It was a relatively remote and poor county. It was because of this that school violence was more prevalent in areas where the rule of law was not well publicized. Director Lin also tried his best to make it as realistic as possible. He found a high school with similar conditions to the original novel to shoot. However, the conditions were not too extravagant. Originally, Director Lin was worried that a rich young master like Xiao Xiao would not be able to adapt. However, ever since Xiao Xiao had helped the poor in Empress Mountain, he did not find any conditions difficult. Ever since they arrived, there was always a group of idle people in the county surrounding them. There were so many handsome men and beautiful women. It was really pleasing to the eye, especially the one who liked to talk the most. He was even more handsome than the male models on TV. This was the highest praise that the people in the county could think of. His smile and frown could blind your face. Xiao Xiao did not expect that there were so many fans of his in this county. Later, when he saw those young ladies using the mineral water he used to advertise, he finally understood. It turned out that they all wanted to be his treasures. It just so happened that he had nothing to do today. While sitting on the set and waiting to adjust the equipment, he simply told the members of the cast and crew about his adventure in Empress Mountain. After that, everyone was amazed and instantly felt that the conditions of the place they were living in were too good. Director Lin was all smiles. This Xiao Xiao was really a treasure. Not only was he not afraid of suffering, but he also increased the endurance of the people around him. Hey, is there really a place like here? Don't tell me you're bragging. At this moment, a voice suddenly came out. Xiao Xiao turned around to look. It turned out that it was one of the people they hired from the local area to help them carry the air. Uncle, you don't have to believe me. I've personally experienced it. That place is so mysterious. Xiao Xiao explained to him good-naturedly. If it's true, then you should also remember that we can't go to a certain place at night. I heard that even immortals will be killed if they go there. The man spoke in a serious tone. Director Lin also began to interject. Uncle, don't be an alarmist. We are all young people here. The more mysterious you make it sound, the more interested they will be. When the man saw that even Director Lin did not believe him, he became a little anxious. Director Lin, what I said is true. Don't go there just because you're curious. That is the famous place where immortals are killed. People who go there are all dead. Director Lin looked at him, and it did not seem like he was lying. Then tell me what's going on. There's a place in the mountains behind us. They call it the Evil Forest. It's filled with miasma all year round, and anyone who goes in will be poisoned. Some people went in with gas masks out of curiosity, but they never came back. Later, the county directly designated that place as a forbidden area, and no one is allowed to go in. The older generation said that this place used to kill immortals, so it's cursed. Even if you go in again, immortals will be killed. Chapter 227. When Director Lin heard this, he wasn't worried anymore. Uncle, don't worry. Most of our filming will be in the county town. We won't go out. Then he said to the other crew members, don't wander around at night out of curiosity, especially the mountain behind us. Don't think about going there. When Xiao Xiao heard what Director Lin said, his heart skipped a beat. Immortal slaying? Could it be related to the immortal slaying grass? Yi Xuanfei had already brought several batches of herbs from his house, but there was no immortal slaying grass. Xiao Xiao couldn't help but wonder if the Eastern aristocratic families had the immortal slaying grass. On second thought, there was no need for them to refine the antidote for the spiritual transformation pill. He had always wanted to steal the antidote from the Eastern aristocratic families. Was his train of thought wrong from the start? He didn't have time to think too much. The filming soon entered a fast-paced stage. When the filming started, Xiao Xiao realized how difficult it was to be an actor. Every day, the crew members on set just had to adjust the lighting, do the makeup, and move a simple horizontal staircase. Just the contract alone had to be done hundreds of times. Needless to say, the brothers on set who were in charge of the recording were definitely physical work. As the lead actor, Xiao Xiao didn't have it easy either. After all, he had never acted before. Under the director's constant guidance and repetition, his acting skills improved greatly. Later on, he figured out that he had to immerse himself in the character, Jiang Yuan. From Jiang Yuan's point of view, he had to think about his expressions and actions in various situations. Director Lin was indeed very professional. He had high standards for every detail. The curvature of the fingers, the standing posture against the wall, the direction of the eyes, the distance between the two sides when talking to each other, and how to shoot the most lifelike angle of the actor. Xiao Xiao actually had a lot of advantages because he had no blind spots. No matter what makeup he put on, he looked quite good. Moreover, he was born with a hedonistic temperament and a lazy attitude towards everything. He was quite eye-catching among the high school students. As soon as he arrived at school, he attracted the attention of all the girls in the school. One of the girls was also a school bully. This scene with Xiao Xiao was quite exciting. This was the second female lead chosen by the crew. She had the temperament of a big sister in the underworld. She was tall and strong, and her school uniform was never neat. She had the air of a big sister who respected herself. She clashed with Xiao Xiao as soon as they met. The two accidentally bumped into each other's shoulders. The big sister was in a bad mood. She asked her underlings to bring Xiao Xiao over and make him kneel down and apologize. Xiao Xiao came over, but he was not brought over. He was invited over. Xiao Xiao seemed to have become the boss, with a group of underlings following behind him. The big sister was also shocked by Xiao Xiao's style. She originally wanted to show him who was the boss, but she did not expect to be checkmated. The two of them wrestled on the spot, and the big sister lost 10 rounds in a row. Looking at Xiao Zhao's back, the big sister gritted her teeth until they broke. This was the scene. It looked simple, but in order to be exciting, Xiao Zhao's aura was absolutely strong. The second female lead was a young and old actress with a lot of acting experience. She originally thought that it would be difficult for Xiao Xiao to act with Xiao Xiao, but she did not expect that Xiao Xiao would really burst out and lead her forward. When the two of them wrestled, their eyes needed to be murderous. It was quite difficult for an ordinary newcomer to act murderous with her. She was originally prepared for Xiao Xiao to NGs many times, but when they really acted, Xiao Zhao's deep eyes stared at her cold, empty, and condescending. This made the big sister tremble violently. Immediately, the murderous look in her eyes disappeared, and it was replaced by a kind of fear. Cut. It was the same for more than 10 times in a row. Director Lin was already anxious. He shouted on the set, "Big sister, you're acting as a big sister. Why are you acting like a little white rabbit? You're someone who has acted in so many scenes. Why are you still being led away by Xiao Xiao?" "I'm sorry, director. Xiao Zhao's aura is too strong. I'm a little scared. Let me try one more time." Xiao Xiao touched his nose. Could it be that he overdid it? However, as the prince of the devil world, he was born with a strong aura. Thoughts of destroying the world often floated in his mind. Arm wrestling was nothing. Xiao Zhao's eyes are very good. You have to hold on. You have to act like a big sister. Director Lin shouted desperately. "Big sister, don't look at my eyes. Look at my forehead and think about shooting a hole there." Xiao Xiao came up with an idea. "Okay, I'll try." The big sister smiled gratefully at Xiao Xiao. "Let's do it again. If it doesn't work, we'll shoot the next scene." Finally, after not looking at Xiao Zhao's eyes, the big sister showed her original strength. She broke out in a cold sweat. It was over. "Xiao Xiao, you really don't look like a newcomer. Your eyes are too strong. I originally thought you were just a flower vase. Now I really admit defeat." The big sister was completely convinced by Xiao Xiao. "Big sister, you have to teach me more. I can really learn a lot from acting with you," Xiao Xiao said modestly. One scene after another, Xiao Zhao's acting skills were constantly sculpted. From morning to night, Xiao Xiao had never felt so fulfilled. He even had less time to think about Yan Ran. In this way, more than 3 months passed unknowingly. The progress of the movie was relatively normal. Nearly 1/3 of the movie had been arranged. Everyone was very tired after working for so long. At the end of the day, Director Lin said that they would take a day off the next day to let everyone take a break. Cheers resounded throughout the set. "Xiao Xiao, what do you want to do today?" The female lead, Guanwan, came forward and asked with a smile. "Me? Go back to the hotel to sleep. I haven't slept in for so many days." Xiao Xiao moved his shoulders and casually refused the girl's invitation. Guanwan was a little disappointed. This Xiao Xiao was the hero who saved her in the movie. After more than a month of getting along with him, at first she was shocked by his appearance, then she was infected by his character, and finally, she was attracted by his heroic spirit in the movie. She had already bowed down to him from the bottom of her heart. Once, she inadvertently asked Xiao Xiao if he had a girlfriend. Who knew? Xiao Xiao directly admitted that he had a goddess. He was henpecked and henpecked. He answered very loudly at that time, and the girls on the set were heartbroken. However, this also helped Xiao Xiao reduce a lot of trouble. But there were still some girls who came forward dauntlessly. They sent gifts, flowers, milk tea, and tried to find something to talk about. They always surrounded Xiao Xiao. Director Lin jokingly said, "On the set, the busiest person is Xiao Xiao. No matter if it's related to the movie or not, everyone goes to ask him. They even leave me, the director, aside." As Guanwan, she had so many scenes with Xiao Xiao that she had already immersed herself in her role. She relied on him in the movie, but she couldn't jump out of the movie. "Then after you're done sleeping, let's go shopping together, okay?" Guanwan further tried to win him over. "You guys go shopping first. When I wake up and have time, I'll find you guys." After saying that, Xiao Xiao directly packed his things and went back home. He had very important things to do today. He had wanted to go earlier, but he had been filming until very late, and he had to wake up early the next day. It was rare for him to have a day off, so he couldn't miss it. His Yenran was still waiting for him to go back and refine pills. After returning to the hotel, he began to disguise himself. After wrapping himself up tightly, he directly jumped over the wall from the hotel's back door and went straight to the back of the mountain. Some time ago, he had asked a few local elders one after another about the land of immortal execution in the back of the mountain. He didn't expect that these elders were all afraid. They covered their mouths and didn't dare to say anything. They just told the young man not to ask about it, and not to even ask about it. It was a forbidden area. Well, he couldn't get anything out of them. Kong Ming and Kong Xiaoming only had a vague feeling. He said that there should be some ancient objects around them. The ancient aura was very strong, but they couldn't sense the specific location. Xiao Xiao first went to a firefighting equipment store and bought a gas mask to wear on his body, in case of the miasma that they mentioned. The auntie who was selling things saw Xiao Xiao and praised, "Young man, you look very handsome with a gas mask on your face." Xiao Xiao followed Kong Ming and Kong Xiaoming's senses and walked to the back of the mountain. The two of them only vaguely felt that there was a slightly stronger aura somewhere. They guided Xiao Xiao in that direction, just like a compass. The mountains here were not like the Empress Mountain. Instead, they were continuous mountains. This small town was the only entrance to the bustling outside at the foot of the mountain. Behind the small town were stretches of undulating mountain ranges. Xiao Xiao looked from afar. The weather was gloomy today. The mountain peaks were all hidden in dark clouds, and he couldn't see clearly. How could he find it? There was no direction at all. Which mountain should he go to? Kong Ming and Kong Xiaoming were also in a dilemma. Xiao Xiao saw that there was basically no one here, and there were no cars. There wasn't even anyone asking for directions. Xiao Xiao looked around and saw that there was no one around. He activated his devil aura and flew directly into the air. Lush, deep green stacked on top of light green, like a green painting that was spread out. The whole mountain was painted with a mysterious green color. Xiao Xiao looked around. Among the many green colors, there was one that was the darkest. It formed a dark green vortex in the whole painting. As the vortex continued to spiral inwards, the dark green gradually turned black, and finally became extremely black. Xiao Xiao looked around. Only this place was so special. Whether it was a forbidden area or not, it was worth exploring. Maybe there were other opportunities. Kong Ming, Kong Xiaoming, do you two feel anything? Is there anything unusual about the vortex over there? It's too far away. I can't feel it. You have to get closer. Xiao Xiao looked around again. This was the most special place. He didn't care anymore. He activated his devil aura and flew toward the vortex. Chapter 228. Xiao Xiao quickly flew above the whirlpool like a rock spreading its wings. He thought that it was a visual whirlpool formed by color, but he did not expect to feel a suction force when he was close enough. It was like an invisible hand that wanted to pull Xiao Xiao directly in. Xiao Xiao quickly steadied himself and moved to the side for a moment. At this moment, he barely avoided the big hand that reached out to him, but at the same time, his balance was broken. He simply used his waist to flip backward and along a big tree next to him. His right foot tapped lightly, and his body shot out and moved to a big tree in front of him on the left. He stretched out his left foot and stepped lightly on the tree. He somersaulted in the air like a nimble sparrow and stopped on the crown of a taller tree. At this time, Xiao Xiao could finally focus his eyes and observe. He had already come to the edge of the black whirlpool. At this time, when he took a closer look, he was shocked. The trees here were particularly lush, and all of them were crowded together. They were all competing with each other for that little space. Some of the branches were broken, and it looked like they had gone through a great battle. It was unknown whether they were broken by someone or bent by the trees next to them. Fortunately, Xiao Xiao landed on the top of the tree. If he fell directly on the ground, there would not even be a place to land. This was a space completely enveloped by trees. Xiao Xiao wondered if a ray of sunlight could penetrate through these crisscrossing branches. Kong Ming and Kong Xiaoming said at this time, "It should be here. The ancient aura here is quite strong." This whirlpool was about 10 miles in radius. No one knew what was under the whirlpool. Xiao Xiao channeled a trace of devil qi and drew a circle in the area covered by some branches and leaves. The sun shone in, but in an instant, the branches moved on their own and quickly filled the hole that Xiao Xiao had created with the growth of branches and leaves. F***ck. It had completely turned into a demon. Xiao Xiao amplified his magic. He didn't believe that you could fill a small hole. I'll make a pool for you. Let's see where you can fill it. A surge of power surged towards this vortex, and only the sound of branches breaking could be heard from all directions. Xiao Xiao looked at the situation he had created with satisfaction, and a large gap was revealed. Sunlight shone in, and at the moment when the black and white light intersected, two large blood-red eyes emitted a beast-like radiance and shot fiercely at Xiao Xiao. At this moment, Xiao Xiao thought that he was hallucinating. The broken branches quickly grew back, and in a few seconds, the whirlpool that had been damaged to the size of a pool was restored to its original state. F***ck. Xiao Xiao, I sense great danger. Did you see a pair of eyes just now? That's the aura of an ancient mythological beast. Kong Ming suddenly warned in the bracelet. Just as his voice fell, the leaves and branches in the black whirlpool suddenly moved, as if they had heard the order of thousands of soldiers and horses. They roared and attacked Xiao Xiao. The sharp branches were their spears, and the leaves were their blades. Although they didn't have aggressive eyes, their imposing manner and indestructible sharpness caught Xiao Xiao off guard. Xiao Xiao quickly made a guard seal to protect his body. His body pulled up from the trunk and flew into the air. But the speed of the branches and leaves was several times faster than him. Just as he got up, he felt that his body was pierced by countless holes. F***ck. Fortunately I made a seal. Otherwise I would have turned into a hornet's nest. But sadly, Xiao Xiao was immediately entangled by some vines. His seal was useless, and he was quickly pulled down. He was about to be pulled into the depths of the black whirlpool. Kong Ming shouted in the bracelet, Xiao Xiao, you can't go in. There's a formation inside. Xiao Xiao quickly reacted. He didn't want to be trapped for another 2 years. Where would he go to see his Yanran? He quickly made a flame seal, and the crazy flame quickly burned his surroundings. These vines, branches, and leaves met their natural enemy and quickly retreated in fear. All the bindings on Xiao Xiao's body were released, and he was about to fall into a black hole that suddenly opened up. At this critical moment, Xiao Xiao used his mana to attack. He stretched out his extended right hand, grabbed a vine that was about to escape, and quickly threw it to the ground like a whip. The whip hit the other branches on the ground, making a loud whipping sound. And Xiao Xiao used this force to quickly roll back to the canopy, where he was originally resting. Xiao Xiao's heart still had a lingering fear. He didn't expect this place to be so strange. All the trees that had turned into spirits attacked him with bared fangs and brandished claws, just like the devils in the demon realm. They laughed wildly, and their ferocious faces wanted to tear him apart. Xiao Xiao, you're really lucky. If you accidentally fell in just now, with the formation and the ancient divine beasts, I reckon you won't be able to get out for 8 to 10 years. Xiao Xiao's face was so serious for the first time. Previously, when he was trapped by the yin-yang formation, he could still laugh and curse, but now he didn't know how to deal with it. What do you think if I directly burn this whirlpool? Xiao Xiao stared at the black area, and a black whirlpool appeared in the bottom of his eyes. This is a forest fire. Wouldn't it be bad? Would Yanran blame you? Xiao Xiao's mind was pulled back by the 2 words Yanran. He relaxed again and said with a ruffian smile, Am I such a person who doesn't like to protect the environment? But Xiao Xiao, you came here to look for the immortal execution grass. Are you sure that the immortal execution grass is here? How can I be sure? Didn't I just hear the old people in the county mumble a sentence? I'm just here to try my luck. Furthermore, I've only seen the appearance of the immortal execution grass in books. If it's really placed in front of me, I won't be able to recognize it. Xiao Xiao casually plucked a leaf from the big tree next to him and put it in his mouth, wanting to blow out some rhythm to relieve his nervous mood. Suddenly, the branches and leaves below opened up from the middle, and a huge monster's head slowly rose from the middle. Xiao Xiao was stunned. How can this monster have such big eyes and mouth? The monster opened its mouth that was several times bigger than the saber-toothed dragon's, and suddenly spat out a mouthful of flames. The flames rose from the bottom, and quickly engulfed the tree Xiao Xiao was on. *CK. Xiao Xiao had just put the leaf in his mouth when he quickly spat it out. Again. It's not that I don't care about the environment. It's that monster who took the initiative to burn the mountain. It has nothing to do with me. I think it has its eyes on you. Before you figure out the situation, you should hurry up and run. Kong Xiaoming shouted from the bracelet. Xiao Xiao thought about it and agreed. He had accidentally provoked such a monster, and he didn't know if he could defeat it. Although he had made seals all over his body, the surrounding flames could burn the entire mountain if he wasn't careful. Xiao Xiao made up his mind, and quickly flipped backward a few times. At the same time, he quickly whipped the whip that he had just grabbed onto towards the monster's head. However, the vine seemed to have grown eyes. As if it had seen its master, it automatically twisted its body in the air, and turned back to continue attacking Xiao Xiao. *CK. It's so tenacious. Xiao Xiao simply threw away the vine, and used riding the wind to directly burn the monster. The fire followed the wind, and the wind helped the fire to grow stronger. In an instant, the entire area was burning. Xiao Xiao saw that it was getting more and more out of control. He touched his nose. What should I do? Should I just retreat like this? If you don't retreat, what will you do? Are you really going to be trapped here? I see that the formation has begun to extend outwards. Run. Xiao Xiao didn't dare to delay any longer. He directly raised his devil chi to the extreme, and quickly ran out of the mountain. The roar of the monster behind him didn't follow. It seemed that its hands and feet were bound, or it just wanted to drive Xiao Xiao out of here. When Xiao Xiao reached the foot of the mountain, he looked back. To his surprise, the fire on the mountain didn't spread much. He flew into the air, and saw that the flames only stopped in a small area above the whirlpool. The whirlpool had begun to rotate on its own. The burned branches, leaves, and the remaining flames were all sucked into the whirlpool. Xiao Xiao touched his nose and said, "It seems that this monster is quite environmentally conscious. It has already cleaned up the battlefield." Kong Xiaoming rolled his eyes. "Nonsense, that's his home. Where can he stay if his home is destroyed?" Kong Xiaoming, you are becoming more and more disrespectful to your master. Believe it or not, I will directly throw you into this whirlpool next time. When did you become my master? Kong Xiaoming asked, unconvinced. I am Kong Ming's master. You are his son. Am I not your master? Kong Xiaoming asked Kong Ming for confirmation. Kong Ming nodded. Yes, he is my master. Kong Xiaoming instantly went berserk. I say, can't you find a more powerful person to be our master? If you can't even beat a mythological beast, won't it be embarrassing to say that you are my master? Xiao Xiao wanted to strangle him. Who said I can't beat him? I didn't fight with him. If I accidentally destroyed the whole mountain, this Yanran will blame me. Next time I bring the totem, I will catch him in an array and beat him until he starts to doubt his life. Kong Xiaoming directly refuted him. You just want to find an excuse to go back to Yanran. You haven't seen him for a month, but it feels like 3 years. I say, Kong Xiaoming, what kind of gunpowder did you eat today? Why are you always going against me? Who knew that Kong Xiaoming suddenly pursed his mouth and cried? Why do I suddenly feel that the mythological beast just now is familiar? I always feel a little sad. Kong Ming felt strange. You, a book spirit, can feel sad? The only thing related to you is the author. Could it be that your book was written by that mythological beast? How is that possible? How can that monster-like guy write a book? He probably doesn't even know how to read. Xiao Xiao finally reacted. After all this time, you are in a bad mood. Forget it, I will forgive you. The monster you are talking about definitely can't write a book. I guess it is the legend in this book. Didn't you kill an immortal? Could it be that the immortal wrote your invincible book? Chapter 229. Kong Xiaoming was still sobbing. Maybe my author was really killed by immortal execution. I'm so sad. Xiao Xiao was no longer angry at him. Kong Xiaoming, don't be sad. If that's the case, then that mythical beast is still the one that protects your master. You should feel comforted. Even if your master is dead, didn't you pass down his spiritual power to me? Then according to what you said, he is my master. Xiao Xiao directly bowed towards the mountain at the foot of the mountain. Kong Xiaoming, let me pay my respects to your master on your behalf. Regardless of whether the immortal extermination grass is here or not, it can be considered that we are fated to meet. Thank you, Xiao Xiao. From now on, I'll treat you as my real master. I don't have an author anymore. From now on, I'll rely on you and Kong Ming. Don't say anything about throwing me away again. After saying that, he started sobbing again. Alright, Kong Xiaoming, don't cry. You and Kong Ming have long been my life and death partners. From now on, Yanran and I will bring you guys to explore the world together. Aha, alright. Xiao Xiao, I only have one request. In the future, can you not let us watch the interactive scenes between you and Yanran? Every time we see it, we get anxious and have to practice the clear heart incantation. It's too torturous. Xiao Zhao's originally brewing sadness and reverence for Invincible's author were instantly shattered. He gritted his teeth. Kong Xiaoming, can't you say something serious? After Xiao Xiao returned to the hotel, he realized that the gas mask he brought was gone. It was probably left at the scene of the whirlpool. However, he didn't feel any miasma, so it was probably at the periphery. He called Yanran and harassed her with 360-degree words of love. He made Yanran kiss him through the phone. After achieving his goal, Xiao Xiao told her what happened. Yanran didn't say anything after hearing it. She just told him not to act rashly, and that she would do some research first. In the end, before Xiao Xiao hung up the phone, he said to Yanran, Yanran, there's less than 3 months until the date you promised me. Don't forget. Yanran didn't react. Under Xiao Zhao's subtle reminder, she finally scolded, pervert. She hung up the phone. However, Xiao Xiao thought that he heard shyness and expectation in those 2 words. He happily rolled onto the bed, pulled the quilt, and began to catch up on sleep. After the first test, Xiao Xiao went back to filming. His days were quite fulfilling. In the blink of an eye, 3 months had passed. Xiao Xiao went to the land of immortal execution several times to take a look, but he didn't find anything. Every time he stared at the mythical beast for a while, he came back. Xiao Xiao directly asked for leave for the final exam. Seeing that the movie was finally coming to an end, today's scene was a fight scene between him and a dozen people. He saved the heroine and took her away from the violent scene, so he suffered the revenge of a group of people. This group of people had been following Xiao Xiao several times, but they couldn't find a chance to attack. They simply sent a follower to follow Xiao Xiao and report to them where Xiao Xiao was. As long as they saw Xiao Xiao alone, they would immediately call someone to stop him. And today was the same. As soon as Xiao Xiao walked out of the school and into an alley, a dozen people surrounded him. Each of them had a sinister smile on their faces and were beating sticks and iron rods in their hands. At first glance, it was obvious that they wanted to teach Xiao Xiao a lesson. Previously, Director Lin asked if he wanted to use a stunt double, but Xiao Xiao directly refused. He said that he could fight. The martial arts director came up and prepared to teach Xiao Xiao a few moves. However, before he could finish the demonstration, Xiao Xiao had already performed more moves freely. Great. One look, and you could tell that he had practiced before. The director's request was, you are not allowed to hurt people, but your punches must be strong. At the director's command, a dozen people rushed toward Xiao Xiao with sticks and rods. Xiao Xiao saw that his path was blocked, so the only way was to go forward. His eyes burst with a bloodthirsty light. He swung his school bag in his hands and fought with the dozen people. He quickly snatched a stick from a person's hand and leaned back to block the other 2 sticks coming from behind. Then he stretched out his long leg and kicked the person in front of him away. Before the person next to him could find a chance to attack, he kicked the gangster behind him and sent him flying. The people at the scene watched with relish. The martial arts choreography was so wonderful that it made the onlookers' blood boil. Xiao Zhao's legs were straight, and her waist was slender. With a few high chops, she gave off the impression that her legs were 1.8 meters long. coupled with her cold expression, the young ladies around her felt their hormones rush to their heads. Originally, the director was afraid that the scene would not be good, but he did not expect that in the midst of the chaos, Xiao Xiao alone would take the lead. Whether it was from a distance or close up, the shooting was perfect. Good pass. The director laughed. I originally expected that today's scene would take a whole day, but I didn't expect you to pass it in one take. Good, let's try to wrap up early today. Everyone do your best. The next scene was when Xiao Xiao won a great victory. The female lead that he rescued was suddenly caught by this group of people. They forced Xiao Xiao to stop, but Xiao Xiao could only stop. At this time, a few sticks came up and directly knocked Xiao Xiao to the ground. He could not resist, and could only protect his head. In the end, he was beaten until he was covered in blood. When the shooting really began, the female lead Guan Run was in a sorry state. Her hair was messy, and her school bag was long gone. She was escorted by 2 gangsters. When she saw Xiao Xiao fighting with a group of people, she shouted, "Jiang Yuan, save me!" At the same time, another voice rang out. "Jiang Yuan, stop. Otherwise, the little girlfriend you're protecting won't have a good ending today." It was the school bully. After saying that, he pulled down the collar of Guan Qing's uniform. When Jiang Yuan saw this scene in the movie, he shouted to stop. Everyone stopped. Jiang Yuan threw the school bag in his hand to the ground. His messy hair flew because of the fight. His eyes were sharp and he said fiercely, "What do you want?" The school bully sneered. "What else can we do? You broke the school's rules as soon as you came. If I don't teach you a lesson, you won't even know that I exist in this school. You are so arrogant. Doesn't the school care?" The people beside him laughed. The school bully laughed so hard that tears flowed out of his eyes. "The school is under my control. Don't you know this? What do you want to do to stop?" The school bully said with a smile, "Just let us beat you up and vent our anger." Jiang Yuan had no choice but to stop, and the hooligans who had been beaten by him to the point where they couldn't fight back saw this opportunity to take revenge. They hit Jiang Yuan directly with their sticks, and Jiang Yuan had no choice but to hold his head with both hands and roll on the ground in pain. Soon, his entire body was covered in wounds, and the female lead Guan Run struggled to break free from the suppression of the 2 people, but she didn't succeed. She saw Xiao Xiao covered in blood, and she screamed at the top of her lungs, "Jiang Yuan, run, don't worry about me." Tears of sadness had already fallen from her eyes. Although the people around them knew that this was a movie, they were moved by the real acting skills of the female lead and the male lead. Xiao Xiao, who was in high spirits just now, was knocked to the ground. No one said a word. Some girls even grabbed the clothes on their chests in fear, as if they were holding on to their hearts. They were afraid that something would happen to this young man, who had already occupied their hearts. Cut. Guan Run, your expression was too ferocious just now. Pay attention to your expression management. You have to cry beautifully. Do it again. The makeup artist quickly went forward to change Xiao Xiao's clothes. Xiao Xiao thought, forget it. I was beaten for nothing just now. Although it's a movie, in order to pursue the real effect, I still took a few hits. He couldn't release the guard seal, so he could only go back and heal himself. It was this scene that was shot more than 10 times. It was either Guan Ren's expression, or the mistakes of the school bully, and the hooligans next to him. In the end, the director roared, "Don't be so fake. You have to look like you're fighting. Learn from Xiao Zhao's scene just now. You have to have eyes. You have to have murderous intent. Don't give me flowery moves. You have to cry realistically. Don't you feel sad when you see Xiao Xiao being beaten so badly?" The others in this scene were fine, but Xiao Xiao was the most miserable. At first, the blood bags on his body were still coming out one by one. Later, Xiao Xiao felt uncomfortable all over because of the sticky feeling. Finally, when he was about to go berserk, it was over. The director was also very tired. That's it for today. Everyone go back and adjust. We'll continue tomorrow. Finally, it was over. Xiao Xiao got up from the ground. Looking at himself dirty, covered in dust and blood, he shook his head with a bitter smile. He had just walked into the dressing room and was about to clean up when a cold girl suddenly squeezed out from the crowd. She quickly followed Xiao Xiao into the dressing room. Then, she pulled Xiao Xiao up and down nervously, checking if there was anything wrong with him. Jing Shu saw that there was actually a fan harassing her boss. The protective mother fan immediately came forward. Just as she was about to pull this annoying female fan away, she saw her boss suddenly grin and hugged the fan in front of her. She spun 3 times on the spot and kept calling Yinran Yinran. Jing Shu stopped abruptly. So this was Yinran, the goddess in her boss's heart. She quickly pulled Xiao Xiaoyan aside. Before Xiao Xiaoyan could greet Yinran, she was pulled out of the dressing room by Jing Shu, leaving the two of them alone. Yinran looked at Xiao Xiao, who was in such a sorry state, and felt sorry for her. I just saw you being hit by others. Did you really get hit? Does it hurt? Xiao Xiao rolled his eyes and quickly complained. I didn't feel it just now. Now that you mention it, I feel like my whole body hurts. Yinran, quickly rub it for me. Then, he pulled Yinran's hand to his waist. Yinran believed him. Quick, let me see if it's serious. Xiao Xiao was proud. He pulled open the clothes around his waist, exposing his delicate and strong waist to Yinran. He grabbed Yinran's hand and rubbed his waist. Yinran looked at it for a long time. It was smooth and white. There wasn't even a mark. No, is it because they didn't hit here? I saw them hit your back a few times. Xiao Xiao was even happier. In his heart, seducing Yinran would always be the first. Chapter 230. Ah, yes Yinran, my back hurts too. Xiao Xiao simply took off his costume that was stained with blood, and turned around to show Yinran his inverted triangular back. Yinran took a closer look, and saw that there were indeed several red marks on his back. She was just about to raise her hand and habitually heal Xiao Xiao when she suddenly remembered that she had no spiritual power left. She embarrassedly withdrew her hand and said to Xiao Xiao with embarrassment, Xiao Xiao, you should find a way to heal yourself. I don't have any spiritual power now, so I can't help you. Xiao Xiao immediately said to Yinran with a bitter face, Yinran, just blow on it for me. So Yinran pursed her lips and blew on the red marks on his back. The warm air was like a gentle little hand that swept across Xiao Xiao's back. Xiao Xiao exaggeratedly shouted, comfortable. Yinran then realized something, and looked at Xiao Xiao's sexy upper body in front of her. She slapped Xiao Xiao's back and said, Are you really in pain or are you faking it? Xiao Xiao exaggeratedly shouted, It really hurts, Yinran, be gentle. Jing Shu, who was at the door, was shocked when she heard this. She immediately knocked on the door and asked, Boss, what happened? Do you need help? The two heard the knock on the door, and were obviously a little flustered. Yinran picked up the clothes, and was about to put them on Xiao Xiao, but Xiao Xiao pulled Yinran closer to his chest. They both replied in unison, It's okay. Xiao Xiao hugged Yinran, and felt the warmth of the moment. He rubbed his face against Yinran's cheek and said, Yinran, did you miss me? Yinran hugged his waist and leaned on his chest, then nodded slightly. Xiao Xiao lowered his head and kissed her face lightly. Yinran, how was my acting just now? Your acting was superb, your movements were on point, and your eyes were sharp. I just felt a little distressed when I saw others hit you. I felt so good when you hit others at the beginning. Soon you will be a big star. Yinran, I haven't seen you for more than a month. How did your little mouth become so sweet? Let me have a taste. Yinran smiled and dodged. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. At this moment, the two people were like a sugar jar was overturned, so sweet that their whole bodies were melting. At this moment, there was no bottom line. Yinran, how is my body? Does it make your heart beat faster? Do you want to kiss and lick it? How is the taste? Yinran saw that he was becoming more and more unreliable, so she directly put the clothes on his head. Let's go. What nonsense are you talking about? Xiao Xiao quickly put on the clothes. Yinran, do you mean to go back to the hotel? Oh yeah. I also think it's not convenient here. After that, he quickly pulled Yinran away from everyone's sight. Jing Shu chased after them. Boss, don't run around, don't be photographed. Xiao Xiao's voice floated from afar. Don't worry, we are in the hotel. Back in the hotel room, as soon as the door closed, Xiao Xiao couldn't wait to push Yinran behind the door. Then, the kiss that he had missed for more than 3 months was about to come. Yinran quickly covered his mouth and blushed. Wait, why are you in such a hurry? Xiao Xiao simply picked her up, turned around, and the two fell on the big bed in the room. Yinran was anxious. She quickly pushed him away and propped herself up. Xiao Xiao, wait a minute. Listen to me, I'm here for something. Even if it's a big thing, let's put it aside first. Don't worry, I'm tall. Even if the sky falls, I'll hold it up. After saying that, Yinran's mouth was blocked. She struggled and whimpered. After a while, she was lost in Xiao Xiao's crazy attack. The two of them kissed until the sun went down. It was not until the curtain of the night fell that someone's stomach growled and pulled the two of them back from the edge of madness. Yinran looked at the mess on the floor, and then looked at the few pieces of clothing left on her body. Xiao Xiao had already taken a cold shower in the bathroom for half an hour. She had a headache. She didn't come for this at all. As soon as the bathroom door opened, Xiao Xiao came out wrapped in a bath towel. His hair was wet, and drops of water kept dripping down. They slid down his slender white jade-like neck to his shoulder, and accumulated a small water stain. Then, along his sexy chest, across his tight waistline, and hid in the bath towel. He walked to the bedside, and the cold air from his body drifted over. Yinran had already pulled the quilt to cover herself. At this time, she was blushing and didn't dare to look at him. Xiao Xiao lifted the quilt and got in. He hugged Yinran from behind and said in a hoarse voice, Yinran, you are so good. Yinran lowered her head and said coquettishly, You rogue, you said you would hold back. Why can't you hold back? Yinran, I have no self-control in front of you. After that, his hands and feet began to move. Stop. Sit on the chair. Don't make any more trouble. We have something to do tonight. Xiao Xiao didn't want to get up from the warm quilt. He hugged Yinran and said coquettishly, Yinran, I promise I won't make any more trouble. I don't want to leave you. Yinran was anxious. Then what do you mean? Why can't I say it? You say it. I'll listen. I can only hear it clearly when I'm close. Yinran slapped away Xiao Xiao's messy hands. She wrapped herself in the quilt and moved to the chair. Then she cleared her throat. Okay, you are not allowed to follow me. Otherwise, I will leave immediately. Xiao Xiao didn't dare to move. It wasn't easy to see Yinran. How could he leave just like that? He could only obediently lean against the headboard. He didn't even cover himself with the quilt, and just threw flirtatious glances at Yinran. Yinran ignored him and organized her thoughts. I came here today because of the immortal execution grass. Last time, you told me about the strange phenomenon here. After I went back, I asked grandfather about it. I also checked some ancient books. It is very likely that the immortal execution grass is at the place you mentioned. Xiao Xiao perked up when she heard that. Really? That's great. Then there's hope for your spiritual power to recover. Yinran said again. Grandfather said that it is only possible that it is here. Legend has it that an ancient immortal was framed and killed. However, he was wronged and refused to go to the chaotic world. Thus, he turned into a stalk of immortal grass, and was named the immortal execution grass. Yinran continued. It is said that this immortal was quite amazing. He wrote a book about the world's #1 martial art. The book was called Invincible. Kong Xiaoming in the bracelet was the first to jump up. Xiao Xiao, am I right? He is my author. I felt it very strongly at that time. After saying that, Kong Xiaoming started to cry again. F***ck, there really is such a thing. Yinran, do you know? The book spirit I took in, Kong Xiaoming, is Invincible's book spirit. The martial art I learned is the world's #1 invincible. Is that true? If that is the case, then Xiao Xiao, you really are fated to be with him. Moreover, it is said that this immortal was originally from the demon realm. For some reason he became an immortal. Because of his original identity, he was ostracized by others in the immortal realm. Thus, he suffered a great injustice, and was directly kicked off the immortal execution platform. Could it be that after he fell off the immortal execution platform, he landed in this mountain range? And his guardian divine beast had set up a formation to protect him all this time? That is really a sentimental and righteous divine beast. Xiao Xiao thought of the scene that day. That divine beast's huge green eyes still made him feel a lingering fear. That is why I came here personally to give this totem to you. If you want to break his formation, you must have this totem. Then if this legend is true, then wouldn't we have to defeat that demonic beast to get the immortal execution grass? Moreover, wouldn't this be disrespectful to this ancestor? At this time, Kong Xiaoming said, my author actually wants to take revenge and wash away his grievances. Not to be a nobody and just want to be a weed. If Yanran can help him fulfill his wish, then I think it would be what he wants to see the most. Xiao Xiao relayed Kong Xiaoming's words to Yanran. Yanran nodded and said, this is actually what the immortal needs the most. It is said that he was a righteous person, but in the end, he fell into the unorthodox path. He mistakenly took a poisonous pill and did something irreversible. What a pity. Why is there always some bad people in this world who use despicable methods to harm others? I hate this kind of people the most. If you have the ability, then come at me openly. Xiao Xiao gnashed his teeth in hatred. Yanran glanced at Xiao Xiao and said, you, the prince of the demon world, are actually so righteous? Are you really from the demon world? There are good and bad people in the demon world. Apart from the fact that the demon world prefers freedom and worships martial arts, the rest of the people are very good. In fact, we also hate those unorthodox methods the most. Yanran, do you know? Our three views are the same. Why do you think I fell in love with Yi Xuanfei? Apart from liking my appearance, she only has a vicious heart. The Eastern aristocratic family is not a good person from top to bottom. Perhaps this immortal was harmed by the ancestors of the Eastern aristocratic family. Yanran was unhappy when she heard him mention Yi Xuanfei. In the past few months when you weren't around, Yi Xuanfei became much more honest. But she would often show off the photos you took with her in front of me. Xiao Zhao's heart skipped a beat. He thought about how many photos he had taken with Yi Xuanfei. It seemed like 123. Oh no, there were several. He hurriedly explained. Yanran, that was all for the sake of acting. Don't take it seriously. Look at how good my acting is now. It was all because of her. Yanran glared at him fiercely. There was one where she was sitting in your arms, and her head was leaning on your chest. Was that also an act? Xiao Xiao tried his best to recall. It seemed like there was one time when he treated her to a meal, and she insisted on sitting on him. Xiao Xiao was so anxious that he broke out in cold sweat. He got off the bed and squeezed into Yanran's chair. He hugged her and said, I swear she definitely did it on purpose that time. Yanran, if I don't sacrifice myself, we won't be able to cheat the cauldron. Yanran turned her head and snorted. There was another photo where she was only wearing a nightgown that reached her thighs. She was leaning on your body. Xiao Xiao hurriedly denied. Never. I don't remember this photo at all. She definitely took it secretly. Xiao Xiao saw that he couldn't let Yanran continue. He hurriedly swore. Yanran, it was all an act. You have to believe me. I only have you in my heart. Moreover, your figure is much better than hers. Also Yanran, it's been 6 months. You have to keep your promise to me. After saying that, this shameless prince of the devil world began to fan the flames everywhere. The night was still young. Yanran's original plan of going out at night was completely extinguished by Xiao Xiao. Chapter 231. When the first ray of sunlight shone through the thick curtains and onto a messy bed, a woman was incomparably beautiful. Her small face was rosy, emitting an alluring and healthy glow. At this moment she was sleeping soundly. Her pink and tender lips were currently red and swollen. Along with her shallow breathing, her lips were unconsciously half closed. The blanket only covered her chest, leaving her smooth and fragrant shoulders exposed. Behind her, only half of the noble and handsome face could be seen. He was also sleeping soundly, his mouth pressed against the girl's neck in front of him. From time to time, he would unconsciously squirm up and down, as if he was still tasting delicious jelly in his sleep. This was Xiao Xiao and Yanran, who had been fooling around all night. It was only at dawn, when the sky gradually brightened, that the two fell into a deep sleep. Last night, Xiao Xiao had enjoyed a sumptuous meal. Not only was he full, he even vomited in the end. In the end, Xiao Xiao shamelessly said to Yanran, "Yanran, my chastity is gone. You have to take responsibility for me." Yanran wiped her sticky hands all over Xiao Xiao's face. In the end, this shameless guy grabbed her fingers and stuffed them into Yanran's mouth. He seduced her with his devilish gaze and bewitched her. "It's delicious. Come be good." Yanran was unconsciously led astray at that time. Yanran's biological clock rang on time. She unconsciously moved, showing signs of waking up. Xiao Xiao was still sleeping soundly behind her. Disturbed by the movement, he muttered, "Aran, sleep a little longer." After saying that, one hand slipped through the gap between Yanran's waist, while the other hand directly hugged over the top of the blanket. His body arched forward, tightly sticking to Yanran's back. Xiao Xiao snorted in satisfaction. Yanran seemed to be comforted and fell into a deep sleep again. The next time the two of them woke up, they were woken up by banging on the door. They heard Jing Shu shouting at the door, "Boss, boss." Xiao Xiao, who was sleeping soundly, was annoyed by the knocking. He grabbed the cushion on the bed and threw it at the door. With a bang, the knocking stopped. Jing Shu was probably shocked. Then she heard Jing Shu carefully ask, "Do you need to take leave today?" Xiao Xiao shouted towards the door, "Apply for leave." Finally, the world was quiet, and Yanran, who was in his arms, was woken up. She rubbed her sleepy eyes, and before she realized where she was, she saw Xiao Xiao's face in front of her, and then a lingering morning kiss began. Xiao Xiao, who had just woken up, was the most annoying. He pestered Yanran for a long time. In the end, he directly carried Yanran to take a shower. By the time the two of them were ready, it was already afternoon. Yanran looked at Xiao Xiao's hooligan face, which angered both men and gods. His face was full of satisfaction, like a cat that had succeeded in stealing a fish. He played with Yanran's soft fingers and laughed incomparably lewdly. Yanran blushed, thinking about how Xiao Xiao had bewitched her last night. She wanted to dig a hole and bury herself. After she squinted and licked her fingers, a seductive look flew into Xiao Xiao's eyes. Xiao Xiao's body trembled with excitement, and he couldn't stop shouting, "Aran, Aran." Later on, Xiao Xiao was so crazy that it was as if he was going to break her bones and devour her. Xiao Xiao proudly bragged in front of her, "Yanran, my self-control last night was good, wasn't it? Although my chastity is gone, your chastity is completely protected." Yanran's face suddenly flushed red, and a bun was stuffed into his mouth. She cursed in her heart. "Other than that, the rest of my innocence is already gone. Forget it, forget it. It's just a matter of time." After the charming scene, the two of them were finally ready to get down to business. When everything was ready, it was already after dinner. The lanterns were just lit, and the curtain of night slowly drew. Originally, Xiao Xiao didn't want to let Yanran go. The situation there was more dangerous, and he had been there a few times, but he didn't get any benefits. However, Yanran wanted to go and have a look. Xiao Xiao couldn't persuade her, so he could only hold Yanran's slender waist and fly her to the back of the mountain. Xiao Xiao prepared a gas mask for Yanran. Although he didn't need it, he was just in case. He was afraid that Yanran didn't have spiritual power and couldn't resist the invasion of the poisonous gas. The forbidden area at night was shrouded in a layer of wet fog. The original location of the black whirlpool was connected with the surroundings in the night. If Xiao Xiao hadn't been here a few times, he would have almost been blinded by the darkness of the night. If he wasn't careful, he would have stepped into the whirlpool and been sucked into the black hole. He pointed to Yanran from the air. "It's there. During the day, you can see a whirlpool formed by leaves. If you're not careful, you'll be sucked into it." Yanran looked for a long time but didn't feel anything. She took a branch from the side and threw it toward the whirlpool that Xiao Xiao said. With a poof, the branch seemed to have entered a meat grinder and was directly pulled in by a hand. The sound of the branch being twisted sounded. In the darkness, it was creepy. Yanran took out the totem on her chest and handed it to Xiao Xiao. "Try using this." Xiao Xiao took it and nodded slightly. He used his devil chi and slowly lifted it into the sky. The ancient totem lit up with its own light and slowly rotated in the air. It was sometimes big and sometimes small, like a wave, It took out its own small golden sword. The light of the small sword was particularly dazzling in the darkness. It was like a lighthouse, a pearl, and more like the stars in the sky. It fell into the whirlpool and illuminated it. Huge spiritual power fluctuations formed a cover around Xiao Xiao and Yanran, covering the two of them. Go! Xiao Xiao shouted. The small golden sword seemed to have heard the bugle horn and rushed into the depths of the whirlpool. A bright light forced back the intertwined branches and leaves on the surface of the whirlpool. This was not fire but light. However, it brought with it endless energy. The branches and leaves seemed to have met the biggest enemy in their lives. They quickly retreated for fear of being splashed. The small golden sword was like a hot knife through butter. Soon, it cut a big hole in the area covered by the branches and leaves. Yanran, look. That is the eye of the mythological beast. Its pair of bell-like eyes, which were originally green in the darkness, were now half squinting due to the golden light. However, the fierceness in its eyes was still there, and its ruthlessness was still there. It raised all the spikes on its body towards this rash intruder. The mythological beast opened its bloody mouth. The red tongue in its mouth flew up and down. In the blink of an eye, it spat out a flame toward the small golden sword. The small golden sword paused for a moment. It seemed to have a sneering expression. It was not afraid of the flame at all. It quickly sped up and directly passed through the flame, heading toward the mythological beast. The mythological beast's eyes showed great horror. Seeing the small golden sword rushing toward its eye, it quickly stood up. It was at this moment that Xiao Xiao finally saw its full appearance. It was more than 10 feet tall. Standing up from the pile of leaves, the tall trees around it became its small soldiers. It looked down on the heroes in the whole forest. After standing up straight, its eyes were on the same level as Xiao Xiao and Yanran in the air. Although its body was huge, it was extremely agile. A dinosaur-like tail swung toward the small golden sword. The small golden sword was about to be thrown to the side. However, how could this ancient golden sword be so easy to deal with? It quickly turned around in the air, avoiding the tail of the mythological beast. It went around to the back of the mythological beast. With a few puffs, it directly passed through the thick skin of the mythological beast and returned to the surroundings of the totem. Xiao Xiao, set up the formation. Under Yanran's command, Xiao Xiao swiftly set up an array formation. He brought the divine beast and Yanran directly to the ancient battlefield. The changes in the scenery in front of him caused the divine beast to stop in his tracks. He looked left and right, only to see that the scenery he was in had completely disappeared. There was no longer the primordial forest that shielded him, nor was there the immortal extermination grass that he had been so meticulously protecting. Originally, when the small golden sword passed through his body, it left a few bloody holes. At this moment, fresh blood was flowing out. However, he did not care about anything. Instead, he ran around the ancient battlefield in a frenzy, as if he was looking for something. Those demon soldiers who were on standby stood still. Even if the mythological beast's big tail swept them, they would be swept away like wooden stakes by the broom. They maintained their original posture, lying on the ground like puppets without blinking their eyes. The mythological beast seemed to be panicking. He ran around the ancient battlefield crazily, but in the end he did not find anything. His eyes revealed fear, but more than that he was worried. This scene seemed to be familiar to him. It evoked more of his memories. He had once followed his master to fight on this battlefield. However, when he returned here he lost his master. He was panicking. The only thing he could do now was to return to the two people who were standing alone on the battlefield. They were the two living people who brought him to this ancient battlefield. He ran in front of the two people and knelt down with a plop. However, because he was too tall, he could only stare at the two creatures who were only as tall as his feet. His mouth issued a buzzing sound. His huge bell-like eyes were slightly red. The pleading in his eyes was so obvious. Xiao Xiao, show him your invincible martial arts. Yanran calmly ordered. After Xiao Xiao obeyed, he agreed. Finally, he used a flagpole on the ancient battlefield as a target and showed his invincible martial arts from beginning to end. Flying fire meteor, fire riding wind, magical power critical strike, Guard seal. When the mythological beast saw Xiao Zhao's movements, he originally thought that Xiao Zhao was going to attack him. In a panic, he had already made a defensive posture. However, he did not expect that Xiao Zhao was not going to attack him, but the flagpole. The more he watched, the bigger his eyes became. In the end, his red eyes were filled with tears. The whimpering sound from his mouth became louder and louder. In the end, it actually became a wail. Yinran made a gesture to Xiao Zhao, making him stop. Then Yinran asked the mythological beast, "Is this the martial arts that your master once knew?" The mythological beast looked at Yinran, who was only as tall as his ankle. That temperament was like a goddess descending to the world. She was cold and aloof, but her heart was caring for the world. He could not help but want to crawl on the ground. He wanted to obtain a trace of pity and help from this goddess. He desperately nodded his big head that was comparable to a Tyrannosaurus Rex. He used his thick animal skin palm to point at Xiao Zhao, and then pointed at himself. Tears of sadness flowed from his eyes. Chapter 232. Yinran looked at the behemoth prostrating in front of her, and continued to speak condescendingly. "As you can see, he is your master's successor. We would like to ask you to take us to see your master." There was hesitation in the eyes of the mythological beast. Yinran knew that it was the master he had guarded for tens of thousands of years. He was worried that his master would be hurt. Yinran continued, "Your master's wish is not to be a blade of grass forever. What he wants is to wash away his grievances and avenge him. As his mythological beast, don't you know that?" The mythological beast's heart was in turmoil. At the same time, he once again blamed himself for his incompetence. For so many years, the only thing he could do was to guard his master. His master really wanted to take revenge and wash away his grievances. But as a mythological beast, what else could he do? He once again whimpered with grievances. Yinran continued, "You can check my pulse. Like your master, my meridians were damaged by the elixir. I also want to take revenge. I don't want to be unable to wash away my grievances. I don't want to become a blade of grass and be guarded by my mythological beast for tens of thousands of years. I will never be able to return to the chaotic world and be reincarnated." After that, Yinran stretched out her hand and placed it in front of the mythological beast. Xiao Zhao suddenly rushed up from behind and pulled back her hand. "Yinran, it's dangerous." Yinran gently patted away Xiao Zhao's hand and looked at Xiao Zhao with firm eyes. "I believe that the mythological beast will not hurt me." Then Yinran stretched out both her hands in front of the mythological beast and looked at him with firm eyes. "Come check my pulse." Xiao Zhao's forehead was covered in cold sweat. He stared at the mythological beast. He was evaluating how many ways he could save Yinran without any harm if the mythological beast hurt Yinran. The mythological beast was also hesitating. Although he was confident in his own strength, he looked at Xiao Zhao's vigilant eyes and was worried that there might be a trap. He was the only mythological beast that protected his master. If he died, what would happen to his master? Yinran looked at the mythological beast for a long time without moving. She also didn't move, and just stretched out her hands. Yinran withdrew her aura to make herself look like she had no attack power. Then she said to Xiao Zhao behind her, "Stay away." Xiao Zhao shook his head, but under Yinran's warning he could only step back. "Go back again behind the flagpole." Yinran's words. "Calm." Xiao Zhao stamped his feet, gave the mythological beast a warning look and retreated. Yinran turned around and looked at the mythological beast tenderly. "Is it okay now? I don't have any spiritual power, so I can't hurt you. He is so far away, so he can't hurt you. Check my pulse." The mythological beast then moved. He lifted his huge butt and swept the ground with his tail, raising the dust in the air. It seemed to be a warning, but also seemed to be encouraging himself. He took a step forward, picked up Yinran, and held her in his arms. Xiao Zhao saw this and shouted anxiously, "What are you doing? Put her down." Yinran's voice came from above. "Xiao Zhao, don't move, just stand there." Xiao Zhao anxiously stamped his feet, but he couldn't do anything. He didn't dare to disobey Yinran's words. The mythological beast then sat down again. put Yinran down on his chest, and then put his thick palm directly on Yinran's Baihui acupoint. Xiao Zhao's teeth were about to break when he saw this. He shouted in the same place, "Mythological beast, if you dare to hurt Yinran, I will destroy your master's martial arts." At this time, the mythological beast did not care about him at all. The stench of the animal all over its body was about to make Yinran faint. Yinran forcibly suppressed the urge to cover her nose with her hand. She still used her eyes to look at the big eyes in front of her with a gentle and harmless gaze, completely ignoring the thick big palm on top of her head. The mythological beast's right palm condensed a surging force and directly hit Yinran's Baihui acupoint on top of her head. He used his left hand to hold Yinran's waist, fixing her in front of him so that she wouldn't fall because of the force. Xiao Xiao only saw that Yinran's clothes seemed to be blown by a strong wind. In an instant, her hair swelled up, and with the increase of force, it was gradually pulled into thin strands from the roots of Yinran's hair. It looked soft, but at this time it was like steel needles. Yinran's face showed a painful expression, as if a mountain was pressing down from the top of her head, passing through her skull, and reaching her internal organs. Yinran suddenly cried out in pain, "Ah!" But the mythological beast didn't care at all, and didn't have the intention to stop. He continued to increase his force to explore Yinran's body. The force was like countless hands, following Yinran's every meridian, drilling inside. Yinran was tormented by these countless hands. Each hand had a fingernail, and when it touched her blocked meridian, it was like a red-hot soldering iron touching a welding point. Yinran couldn't help but twitch. Xiao Zhao's eyes turned red. He wanted to go forward, but at this time, he was blocked by the power of the mythological beast. He looked at Yinran struggling up and down involuntarily, and his heart ached so much that he wished that he was the one suffering. He fiercely pulled down the flagpole beside him, and vented all his anger on it. The flagpole instantly turned into powder. Yinran endured the probing of the mythological beast's spiritual power. Countless hands gradually went down and arrived at her dantian. At this time, Yinran's dantian had long been empty like the sea. Yinran only felt the hands wandering around inside, trembling. Then, they paused for a moment, and continued to wander around the meridians of her thighs. The meridians in Yinran's two slender legs were the most seriously blocked. Perhaps it was because people who cultivated spiritual power always sat cross-legged in their lower legs, so they had to gather more spiritual power than their upper body. Therefore, the damage caused by the spirit-transforming pill was more serious than the damage caused by the upper body. When the invisible hands wandered around the meridians of her legs, Yinran felt a deeper pain. It wasn't like the pain in the upper body, but in the lower body, there was a burning sensation. Yinran couldn't help but moan. The sound of her breathing and neck tearing gouged out Xiao Zhao's heart. Xiao Zhao shouted from the side, "Mythological beast, that's enough. Be careful, or I'll make things difficult for you in the future." With Xiao Zhao's roar, the mythological beast also finished probing the meridians of her whole body. He withdrew his hands and put down Yinran, who was sweating all over. Xiao Zhao immediately stepped forward and hugged her tenderly. Yinran's eyes were closed. Her whole body seemed to have been fished out of the water. Her hair was wet and stuck to her forehead. But at this time, Yinran's expression was no longer painful. Her face had returned to calmness. She closed her eyes and said to Xiao Zhao, "I'm fine, don't worry. It was just a little painful just now." At this time the mythological beast said, "You didn't lie to me." She was indeed harmed by the spiritual transformation pill, just like my master back then. Because he hadn't spoken for a long time, the mythological beast stuttered. But Xiao Zhao and Yinran could still understand. Then the mythological beast told the heart-wrenching story from 10,000 years ago. My master was born in the demon world. He had long forgotten his original name. When he became an adult, he named himself Invincible. Where did he learn his martial arts? Yinran interrupted. My master's innate talent is extraordinary and intelligent. During a fortuitous encounter, he met a woman from the god realm. The two of them were attracted to each other, and quickly fell in love. This woman had immortal arts. She enlightened master's 8 extraordinary meridians, and brought him into the path of cultivation. The two of them spent several beautiful years together. But suddenly one day, this fairy was captured by two people from the god realm. They said that gods and demons couldn't intermarry. That was their fairy from the ninth heaven. Because she was naughty and traveled to the demon world for too long, they were ordered to bring her back to the god realm. My master Invincible, of course, was unwilling. The two of them resisted with all their strength. But at that time, my master's martial arts hadn't reached the peak yet. The fairy was captured and brought back to the god realm. Before she left, the fairy told him that she was willing to be his wife. At the same time, the fairy left him a hibiscus book, telling him to cultivate well and wait for her return. He hated that his martial arts were not as good as hers. So in the following days, he cultivated desperately and used the hibiscus book to train his willpower. At the same time, he created a set of martial arts called Invincible. He directly named this set of martial arts Invincible. Yinran's eyelashes moved, and she opened her eyes. Mythological beast, do you know? The hibiscus book is now in my hands. The mythological beast seemed to understand something. It seems that we are really fated. You must have been cultivating. Otherwise, my pulse examination would have made you wish you were dead. I didn't expect you to survive. Xiao Xiao glared at him fiercely. The mythological beast coldly snorted. Don't think that just because you are the successor of Invincible, you can glare at me. To you, I am also half a master. Then, the two of them ignored each other. After a while, the mythological beast continued to say, after my master cultivated his martial arts, he wanted to go to the god realm to find his lover. It was as difficult as climbing the heaven stairway. Fortunately, my master's martial arts were the best in the world. He passed through 9 stages, and finally reached the southern gate of the god realm. But after reaching the god realm, he realized that it was another world. Where could he go to find his fairy? After painstakingly searching, he couldn't find her. He simply took root in the god realm and became a general. Until one day, he was lucky enough to go to the throne room. Only then did he find out that the fairy sitting next to the Sky Emperor in the Qingluan Hall was his wife. He felt as if he had been struck by lightning. He didn't expect that his wife's status would be so high. He also didn't expect that the Sky Emperor would announce the marriage of the fairy. He was unwilling to give up. He finally found an opportunity to meet the fairy in private. He found out that his wife was the Sky Emperor's niece. In order to balance the 6 generations, the Sky Emperor couldn't bear to part with his own child. So he sent people to the demon realm to capture his niece and send her to the marriage. What made him most gratified was that his fairy still loved him deeply, but she couldn't resist the Sky Emperor's arrangement. Invincible comforted her. He knew that the Sky Emperor had once made a promise. As long as someone could help him take down a small country that had been threatening them, he could make a request. The Sky Emperor would definitely agree to it. So, he asked the fairy to delay the Sky Emperor as much as possible, while he went to be the god of war. After half a year, he returned in triumph and finally became the god of war. He asked the Sky Emperor for any reward, but he didn't want him. He only wanted his fairy. Although the Sky Emperor was unhappy, he couldn't take back his words. He could only agree to Invincible's request. But he didn't expect that everything would change on the eve of the wedding. Chapter 233. Fairy of the Ninth Heaven. The man who was originally betrothed to her was a scumbag, but he was a relative of the Sky Emperor. The mythological beast gritted its teeth and said, because he coveted the beauty of the Ninth Heaven fairy, he was shocked at the first meeting. After that he kept coming to harass the fairy. And because the fairy couldn't stand his harassment, she directly hid in the demon realm and met my master. This person's heart is vicious, but his family's influence in the divine realm is monstrous. He is determined to obtain the fairy of the Ninth Heaven that he wants. How can he let a nameless pawn from the devil realm snatch it away? So on the eve of the wedding, he directly sent people to set up a formation in my master's palace. At the same time, he added the spiritual transformation pill to his food. My master is a gentleman. He never thought that there would be such a crooked practice in this world. After he took the spiritual transformation pill, he lost all his spiritual power. At the same time, he mixed a very strong aphrodisiac in his food. Because of the restriction of the formation, my master couldn't leave the palace at all. Moreover, that despicable villain stuffed several palace maids who were also fed the aphrodisiac into the formation. So in this formation, my master and several palace maids slept together. The next morning, when they were preparing to pick up the bride, they couldn't find her. When they opened the gate of the palace, they found this ugly scene. The Sky Emperor was furious. Invincible actually provoked the majesty of the imperial family on the eve of the wedding. He was directly sentenced to death on the immortal punishment platform. My master couldn't defend himself, and the fairy of the ninth heaven also shed tears of pain. In this way, my master was directly thrown off the immortal punishment platform. The fairy of the ninth heaven was ordered to watch the execution. The Sky Emperor originally wanted her to give up, but he didn't expect that after my master jumped off the immortal punishment platform, this affectionate and righteous woman turned to the Sky Emperor and the scumbag and said, "I don't believe that he would do such a thing. He must have been framed. I can see from his eyes that he has suffered a great grievance. I am his woman in life and his ghost in death." Then, when the guards weren't paying attention, she directly jumped down after him. When I found my master, I didn't see the fairy of the ninth heaven. I only saw my master turned into an immortal herb and fell in this back mountain. So I didn't go anywhere, and just stayed here to guard him for tens of thousands of years. Xiao Xiao and Yinran listened to the whole story in silence. They didn't expect the legend to be true, but the details were actually so tragic. After a while, Yinran stood up from Xiao Xiao's arms and walked to the front of the mythological beast. "I admire you for being a sentimental and righteous mythological beast. After so many years, we can't go to heaven to seek justice for your master's injustice. But now that the spirit-transforming pill has appeared in the human world, it must be related to the scum you spoke of. In the world of cultivation, the strengths of the aristocratic families of the East are alchemy and formation. My goal is to destroy them. So can it be considered as avenging your master?" Actually, my master turned into the immortal punishment grass. I guess he wants to cure the poison of the spiritual transformation pill. The spiritual beast finally spoke his mind. "To tell you the truth, we are here to find the antidote of the spiritual transformation pill. The most important one is the immortal punishment grass. We want to ask you for it. If you cure me of the spiritual transformation pill, I swear I will help your master to eliminate the poison of the spiritual transformation pill from the world. The Eastern aristocratic families will no longer do evil in the world." Yinran said these powerful words. Although her voice wasn't loud, every word knocked on the spiritual beast's heart. After the mythical beast heard this, it raised its head and looked at the sky. Its huge eyes revealed a look of longing. It looked at a certain direction in the sky and knelt down on the ground. Its huge body shook the ground 3 times. Then he kowtowed. Every time he knocked his head on the ground, a big hole would be created in the ground. Then the spiritual beast crawled on the ground and began to cry. That cry was heart-wrenching, as if he wanted to cry out the sorrow of tens of thousands of years. He wanted to cry out the injustice of tens of thousands of years. Xiao Zhao's heart suddenly swelled. Although he hadn't seen this invincible master before, he was really his master. He and Yinran knelt beside the spiritual beast and kowtowed 3 times. Finally, the wind calmed down and the crying stopped. With tears in his eyes, the spiritual beast said to Xiao Xiao and Yinran, "Bring me out. I will bring you to get the immortal herb." Xiao Xiao directly moved the 2 of them from the array to the originally dark forest. At this time, the sky was completely dark, and the stars in the sky were bleak. They could only vaguely see the whirlpool. They saw the mythological beast recite a chant, and instantly, like a cover, the whirlpool opened from the middle, revealing the full appearance of the inside. It turned out to be a cave with the universe inside. The cave was very wide and also very deep. Thinking about it, for a creature as big as the mythological beast to survive inside, it must have a very large space. The spiritual beast led the 2 of them directly into the cave. After walking for more than 10 zhang, they finally saw a green immortal herb. Its whole body was emitting a faint green light. Under the reflection of the moonlight, it looked especially proud and aloof. "This is my master." The spiritual beast's buzzing voice sounded. Yinran stepped forward and bowed. She said to the immortal herb, "Invincible Lord, although the injustice you suffered in your previous life couldn't be redeemed, in my current life, I will definitely help you get it back." Xiao Xiao stepped forward and dug out the immortal herb along with the soil. At this time, the light green immortal herb seemed to be responding. Faint dewdrops formed on its leaves. Xiao Xiao gently put it into the bracelet and asked Kong Ming and Kong Xiaoming to take good care of it. Then, Xiao Xiao turned around and said to the spiritual beast, "We can be considered to be even. I won't haggle with you for what you did to Yinran just now. Now I want to return this favor to you. Your master has been taken away by us. I think you also want to return to the demon world, right?" The spiritual beast was still grieving. Hearing Xiao Xiao's words, it suddenly opened its eyes wide. "You can let me return to the demon world?" Xiao Xiao raised his head and looked at the spiritual beast. "Of course, I'm the crown prince of the demon world. If you want to return to the demon world, it's only a matter of a word from me." The spiritual beast was skeptical. Xiao Xiao couldn't help but feel discouraged. Fine. I'll directly send you back, lest you become homeless." Then, he activated the totem and directly set up the yin-yang formation. The huge spiritual beast disappeared in the blink of an eye. "Xiao Xiao, did you really send him back to the demon world?" "Of course. Last time, I passed through this formation and directly returned to the demon world. But I can't bear to part with you, so I came back." In the space, Kong Ming and Kong Xiaoming were looking at the immortal grass. The immortal grass couldn't speak, but it seemed to have consciousness. Its leaves were constantly condensing dew, as if it was greeting Kong Ming and Kong Xiaoming. "Let's go, Yinran. Let's hurry up and refine the immortal pill. It'll help you recover your spiritual energy and revitalize the world of cultivation." Yinran's eyes lit up with a spark of hope. It was so firm and bright, illuminating the path forward in her heart. After returning to the hotel, the two didn't delay for a moment. Yinran took out the herbs and the cauldron she brought, while Xiao Xiao was responsible for using his spiritual energy to refine the immortal pill's antidote bit by bit according to the steps in the book. This was their first attempt. There was only one immortal execution grass, so they mustn't make any mistakes. They put the other herbs inside bit by bit, gradually increasing the temperature. The first few herbs had already turned into white powder, but no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't form the thick medicinal juice that was described in the book. The two tried for an entire night, but they failed before they could even put in the immortal execution grass. It seems like this immortal pill isn't that easy to refine. Xiao Xiao sat on the bed dejectedly. He stretched out his hands and lay on the bed. "Yinran, I'm so tired. Let's rest for a while." Yinran was also physically and mentally exhausted. She directly sat on the chair. "Where did we go wrong? Why can't we refine it according to the steps in the book?" At this time, Kong Xiaoming interrupted. "Xiao Xiao, did you follow the steps in the book?" Xiao Xiao said, "Of course, we must follow the steps in the book." "Then have you ever thought that this book might be as incomplete as my original Invincible? That's why you keep failing." When Xiao Xiao heard Kong Xiaoming's words, the more he thought about it, the more reasonable it made sense. "Yinran, think about this possibility. Could this book be the same as some of the books I read before? It's incomplete. When I stole this book, I almost fell into an illusion. In the illusion, there was a woman refining pills. Do you think she's the spiritual consciousness of this book? The person in the illusion can't be the spiritual consciousness of the book. That's to confuse your mind. If she's the spiritual consciousness, she should have followed the book," Yinran said with certainty. "But what you said is possible. Maybe there are a few pages in the middle of the book that are incomplete. We've been practicing for a long time and are familiar with every step. Whether it's the temperature control, the order of putting the herbs, or the quality of the herbs, there's no problem. Could it be that you've been filming for the past 6 months, so you've neglected your practice?" "No, Yinran. Although I'm filming here, I've been practicing very hard. I've never fallen behind in my practice. I know this is the only way to help you find your spiritual power. Of course I won't be lazy. Then I don't know what to do. Yinran closed her eyes tiredly. Let me think about it again. Xiao Xiao looked at Yinran's tired face. He pressed his hands on her temples and gently massaged her. Yinran, you're tired too. I still have to film today. You rest for a while. I'll try to come back early tonight. Yinran stood up and hugged Xiao Xiao. She said to him, Go and film well. I'm going back today. I have other things to deal with. Let's put the alchemy matter aside for now. When I think of a way and you're done filming, we'll study it carefully. What? Yinran, you're leaving today? You've only been here for 2 nights. Stay with me a little longer. Xiao Xiao really couldn't bear for Yinran to leave. Yinran kissed Xiao Xiao lightly on the lips. Be good, be good. I really have something to do. Your scenes should be finished soon. I'll wait for you at home. Xiao Xiao reluctantly went to film. Some scenes were shot several times, but still couldn't get the feeling. Director Lin couldn't help but get angry. Xiao Xiao, where's your soul? Where's your soul? Xiao Xiao touched his nose. His soul had long been taken away by Yinran. After a day of shooting, he returned to the hotel and saw the cold room. His heart was melancholy. It was no longer as warm as it was 2 days ago. Chapter 234. The Eastern aristocratic family had been having a hard time recently. Originally, it was not easy for a large corporation to support a few thousand employees. Furthermore, the Eastern aristocratic family had to spend a large amount of energy and money to produce pills. Furthermore, Minister Zhou was like an insatiable vampire, constantly sucking the freshest blood from the Jiutian family. Old Yi pressed his throbbing temples. Ming Tian didn't even dare to breathe loudly in front of him. The air pressure in the room had sunk to the bottom. Next month, we have to pay back 1 billion in loans. What can you do? Old Ye's deep voice sounded. Ming Tian's forehead was covered in cold sweat. He wiped it with the sleeve of his suit. Right now there's only 1 billion in the account. If it's exposed that we've breached the contract, all the financial institutions will surround us and block us. All the assets may be seized by them in advance, and the entire corporation will go into bankruptcy. Old Yi threw the pen in his hand at Ming Tian. I'm asking you what solution you have, not the consequences. Ming Tian was so scared that he knelt down. Old Yi, our cultivation world should focus on cultivation. We're not good at business operations in the human world. I don't have a solution at all. Other than selling assets, what else can we do? Selling assets? You want me to sell assets? How will I explain it to the higher-ups? Old Yi, we must report the situation of the Jiutian family to the higher-ups. At this time, we can only ask him to help us. Ask him to come forward and ask all the banks to automatically extend our loans. He's only the head of the National Security Department. How can he manage the financial system? You're really whimsical. You don't understand the rules of the human world at all. Old Yi began to roar. Ming Tian, a man, actually began to cry. Old Yi, I've been with you through life and death for so many years. At the most critical moment, face is no longer important. The cultivation world isn't like God's. Not everything can be done. Many operations are limited by the rules of the human world. Just like those movies that we've already filmed. We can't schedule it. We can't get it online. We can't get the money back. Who can we blame for that? At most, I'll tell the higher-ups that he needs the funds later, but we'll have to think of a way to get this 1 billion yuan. You see which assets can be sold as soon as possible, and fill this hole first. If the proper channels don't work, think of a way to get our cultivators to do it. I don't believe that there's anything you can't handle with such a weak group in the human world. Even if you have to rob them, you have to get the money back for me. For the convenience of her work, Yinran temporarily rented an office. Once school was over, she would report here on time. On the opposite wall was a large atlas of the Eternal Heaven Department. Yinran had already made a lot of markings on the atlas. She had already touched 70 to 80% of each company's main business and current projects. Those that were profitable, and those that were not were marked with different colors. Now, other than the bank accounts and the real financial statements of the Forever family, she had already sorted out a clear idea of the other major businesses. She was trying to use her own method to compile the financial statements. According to the publicly disclosed data, she found that Eternal Heaven Entertainment and Eternal Heaven Technologies' financial statements were falsified. They made up accounts receivable and income, as well as misstated costs. Their methods were not very clever. Yinran used her professional knowledge as a top student in the finance department to calculate that her bank account was definitely not that much. It seemed that they had also taken care of the law firm. The annual financial statements had clearly inflated the income, and a lot of the long-term investments on the books were fake. Yinran sent someone to pretend to be the assistant of the fund manager, and went with the real fund manager to the Eternal Heaven Department's company to do research. The results of the research allowed her to obtain more first-hand data. Very quickly, the entire financial situation of the Eternal Heaven Department slowly surfaced. Big Sister Yinran, Eternal Heaven Entertainment is privately auctioning off their assets. Little Six rushed into Yinran's office. When Yinran heard this news, her eyebrows didn't move. Looks like they're really going to be hurt. Little Six, our opportunity is coming. Properly investigate who they're privately contacting, and spread the news that Eternal Heaven Entertainment is about to close down. Give these buyers a good chess piece, so they can get their assets at the lowest price. We can't let Eternal Heaven Entertainment recover. Just like this, a piece of news quietly spread in the financial circle. Originally, it was a real estate agent's advertisement. It didn't mention any names, but the location of the assets was very clear. They were all marked with the lowest price, and urgently for sale. As for the news of these assets being auctioned off, even if it wasn't blatant, under the dog nose of the financial circle's business managers, there was nowhere to hide. Very quickly, they investigated and found that these assets at such a low price actually belonged to Eternal Heaven Entertainment. This made all of the financial institutions' jaws drop. These were their high-quality assets, high-quality enterprises, and strategic customers. Could it be that there was a problem with them? As a result, Ming Tian, who was originally in a state of raising money everywhere, had no choice but to receive n number of people from financial institutions every day to investigate the situation. He was very surprised that the company had carried out such a secret asset dump. How did it leak out? He hurriedly put on a smiling face and denied. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. I don't know who put up this advertisement. And there must be some people who are idle and bored. We definitely wouldn't dump our assets. The words were said, but at this time, several interested buyers that had been in contact with them lowered the price even more, wanting to dig out a piece of meat from the palm of their hands. Ming Tian gritted his teeth, but there was nothing he could do. Originally, they only needed to sell 3 buildings, but now they had to sell 5 buildings. It really was a vicious cycle. Ming Tian felt that this period of time was not going smoothly, as if there was an invisible hand pushing him from behind. However, everything happened so naturally. If this continued, he would soon be unable to breathe. Little Six, find a way to go to the banks that Eternal Heaven Entertainment is working with, and get their repayment time. This is only the first billion-yuan loan, and they're already selling their assets. I want to see how much time they have to breathe before they start to repay the second loan. Okay, Big Sister Yinran. Don't worry. I can take care of this small matter very quickly. Yinran made another mark on her map. She predicted that when she made a few more marks, the Eastern aristocratic families would be desperate. She checked her dantian, but it was still empty. There was no change. She sighed. All the meridians in her body were blocked. The hibiscus chart was constantly cultivating, but it only made her spiritual power stronger. It did not help her spiritual power at all. It seemed that the antidote for the spiritual transformation pill was imperative. What exactly was the problem? Yinran was a little anxious. If the Eastern aristocratic families were desperate, who could stop them? After a few days of adjustment, Xiao Xiao suppressed his longing for Yinran and seriously immersed himself in filming. More than half of the scenes were done, and the whole youth campus drama had reached its climax. After nearly 2 months, The scenes were finally coming to an end. Jiang Hao had become a popular figure on campus. He had used his charm to conquer a group of students who were willing to stand with him. He took advantage of his work at the broadcasting station and used his pen to write and broadcast some positive energy manuscripts every day. He imperceptibly instilled the correct way to deal with campus violence in the students. At the same time, he constantly promoted the law on the protection of minors. This made the students who didn't understand the law and didn't dare to resist slowly gather around Jiang Hao as if they had found an organization. Jiang Hao, by uniting a group of righteous students, encouraged students who had been subjected to school violence to bravely speak out, collect evidence, and report to the school and the police. Jiang Hao used this opportunity to get more powerful evidence. In the end, the leader of the evil forces was finally sent to the police station. Jiang Hao wrote his voice in the new day's broadcast. Students, when threats and violence come, don't be afraid. Believe that evil will not prevail over good. All the forces of justice will be your strong backing. Don't easily bow to the forces of evil. Once your heart is determined, it will emit a strong deterrent force. Look at this beautiful and clear blue sky. Justice will always be with you. Jiang Hao's voice was steady and powerful, floating over the campus and penetrating into the hearts of every student. Many people were facing the direction of the broadcasting station, as if they wanted to see the hero who had the courage to lead them through the sound waves. The national flag fluttered over the playground, blending with the dazzling sun in the distance. It was a natural scene. Click. The film ended. Under Director Lin's announcement, the filming task was finally completed successfully. The whole crew was jubilant, cheering and jumping, as if it was the new year. Director Lin waved his hand and invited everyone to dinner. Xiao Xiao was now eager to return home. He really wanted to fly back immediately, but Director Lin directly hooked his arm around his neck. You are the male lead. I really chose the right one. Tonight, we won't go home until we are drunk. Xiao Xiao had no choice but to book a flight for the next morning and walk with a group of people to the most famous hotel in the county. Hey Xiao Xiao, the female lead Guan Wan caught up from behind. Let's go together. Thank you in the film. You saved me so many times that I almost took it seriously. Xiao Xiao turned to look at her. That was acting. Don't take it seriously. Last time, my girlfriend came, you saw it. Guan Wan did not expect Xiao Xiao to directly reject her so thoroughly. She was a little embarrassed. Your girlfriend is quite beautiful. I saw her last time. You two seem to have a good relationship. Xiao Xiao immediately laughed. Of course, she will be my wife in the future. Of course, we have a good relationship. After that, he called out to Jing Shu, who was originally behind. What time is the flight tomorrow morning? I will go back first. You stay here and arrange the follow-up matters. Jing Shu immediately stepped forward. Boss, don't worry. Leave it to me. Looking after your girlfriend is more important. Guan Wan gradually fell 2 steps behind. Looking at Xiao Xiao's slender and straight back in front of her, her heart was broken. Chapter 235. The plane flew across the blue sky and landed back at Nanchuan's airport after a loud roar. Xiao Xiao was fully armed. He quickly got off the plane and walked towards the exit of the airport. They hadn't seen each other for more than 2 months. He wanted to rush back to Yinran's side as soon as possible. Brother Qiao. A surprise cry rang out. Xiao Xiao, who had just stepped through the security check, looked over. Then a delicate figure dashed over and rushed into his arms. Xiao Xiao took a step back from the impact. He felt a headache coming on. How did this Yi Xuanfei know that he was coming back today? Yi Xuanfei hooked her arms around his neck and jumped up and down. The big smile on her face was like the warm winter sun. Xiao Xiao had no choice but to pull her hands away from his neck. He asked expressionlessly, Why are you here? I saw the news that you finished filming yesterday. I guessed that you would come back early this morning. I've been waiting here for the whole morning. I didn't know which flight you would take, and was afraid that I would miss your flight. I wanted to see you for a long time. If you hadn't said that you didn't allow me to visit you, I would have taken leave to accompany you. Yi Xuanfei chattered nonstop. Oh, let's go. Don't let others see us. Xiao Xiao grabbed her arm and dragged her out of the airport. Hey brother Xiao, slow down. I'm still wearing high heels. Xiao Xiao let go of her and strode out. Yi Xuanfei had no choice but to jog and follow behind. Yi Xuanfei's car was already waiting at the entrance. Xiao Xiao didn't stand on ceremony and got into the car. Yi Xuanfei rolled up the front and threw herself into Xiao Xiao's arms. Brother Xiao, I missed you so much. Then she pouted her pink lips and asked for a kiss from Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao blocked her sexy red lips. What's wrong? Have you forgotten my rules? Yi Xuanfei had no choice but to give up. She rubbed against his chest. Xiao Xiao's fists clenched and loosened and tightened again. In the end, he still pushed away Yi Xuanfei's hands that were messing around on his body. He straightened his face and chided her softly. How can a girl be so immature? Yi Xuanfei didn't care about Xiao Xiao's stern face. She couldn't wait to take off Xiao Xiao's shirt and press her face against his chest to relieve her lovesickness. Brother Xiao, why are you so fierce? I haven't seen you in a long time. Let me touch you. Sit properly. I have something to ask you. Xiao Xiao pushed Yi Xuanfei away and ordered. Have you caused any trouble for Yanran during this time? Yi Xuanfei was unhappy when she heard the words Yanran. Brother Xiao, why can't you forget her? I don't dare to disobey your orders. I only talked to her about you. Other than that, I don't even bother to talk to her. Is this how you get along with her? You really didn't bully her? She's just an ordinary human now. Is it worth it for me to bully her? Yi Xuanfei sat up straight and leaned against the back seat lazily. She fiddled with Xiao Xiao's earlobe with one hand. Brother Xiao, aren't you being too concerned about her? No matter what, you have to do what you promised me. What did I promise you? Xiao Xiao moved back and leaned against the window. He stretched his long legs forward and looked sloppy. He couldn't be bothered with Yi Xuanfei. Didn't you agree to join the Eastern aristocratic family? And didn't you agree to marry me after graduating from university? Yi Xuanfei was a little anxious. How can you believe a man's words? And didn't I say that I needed to consider it? My filming this time interrupted my consideration. Wait, I need to consider it carefully. Xiao Xiao's words made Yi Xuanfei's eyes turn red with anger. Xiao Xiao saw that Yi Xuanfei was about to cry from anger. This couldn't do. He still had many uses for her in the future. What's wrong? What's there to cry about? Do you want to marry me so badly? All right. I didn't say that I needed to consider it. What are you doing? I just came back. Are you annoyed to see me? Then I'll disappear from your sight immediately, all right? Yi Xuanfei was even more embarrassed. She tugged at Xiao Xiao's clothes and said, Do you not like me at all? I feel that you're always patronizing me. You won't even kiss me. I like you so much. Aren't you touched at all? My fans all like me a lot. They even wanted to jump off a building. Do you want me to kiss every single one of them back? Am I your fan? I'm your future wife. Yi Xuanfei didn't give up and started to act arrogant. Xiao Xiao simply covered his ears. I said girls have to respect themselves. If you continue to make a fuss, I'll disappear immediately. This sentence was indeed effective. Yi Xuanfei immediately stopped making a fuss and obediently snuggled into Xiao Xiao's arms. As Xiao Xiao woke up early in the morning, seeing that Yi Xuanfei had finally settled down, he didn't bother about her anymore. He leaned against the back of the seat and closed his eyes to rest. Gradually, the car quietened down and only Xiao Xiao's light breathing could be heard. After 10 minutes, Yi Xuanfei started to be naughty again. She moved up from Xiao Xiao's chest to his neck and used her tongue to hook his earlobe. Xiao Xiao felt as though a mosquito had bitten his ear. He casually slapped Yi Xuanfei's face. It didn't feel right. Xiao Xiao immediately woke up. He looked at Yi Xuanfei, who was covering his face pitifully. Xiao Xiao could only apologize. I'm sorry, Xuanfei. I thought there was a small bug just now. But this time, Yi Xuanfei didn't say anything. Tears gathered in her eyes, and the anger in her eyes was on the verge of erupting. Xiao Xiao knew that she was in trouble. This young miss with princess syndrome was about to explode. He quickly hugged her and rubbed her face. Xuanfei, I've told you before. I'll definitely consider your request. Can you give me some time? This time, Yi Xuanfei didn't give up. Kiss me. If you kiss me, I'll believe you. Xiao Xiao couldn't bear with the discomfort in his heart, and kissed her on the cheek. Yi Xuanfei immediately went for a yard after taking an inch. She pressed herself against his chest, and wrapped her arms around his neck, biting his Adam's apple. Xiao Xiao immediately flew into a rage. At this moment, the car was waiting for a red light. Xiao Xiao opened the car door, and ignored Yi Xuanfei's calls. He got into another car and drove away. Kong Ming and Kong Xiaoming looked at Xiao Xiao's actions, and their eyes widened. They gave him a thumbs up. Xiao Xiao, aren't you going to use your beauty trap? Are you going to fall out with Yi Xuanfei? If a gentleman can endure it, what else can't? There's a limit to the beauty trap. Aren't you afraid that she'll torment Yinran? Xiao Xiao thought about it. It was indeed impossible to guard against her. If Yi Xuanfei transferred her anger towards him to Yinran, what should he do? There were many experts in the eastern region, and Yinran's spiritual transformation pill had not been cured yet. He helplessly took out his phone and called Yi Xuanfei. Xuanfei, you went overboard just now. I'm not used to it. I just arrived today and I'm a little tired. I'll go back and rest first. I'll treat you to dinner tomorrow night. Yi Xuanfei was very unhappy. Xiao Xiao used to coax her. She didn't expect that after not seeing him for so long, he would slam the car door on her. But Xiao Xiao's phone call calmed her down temporarily. She knew that as long as he was smart, he would choose her. Even if Xiao Xiao wasn't completely used to it now, he would get used to it one day. Xiao Xiao had the right to be arrogant with her. So what if she endured it? No matter what, she would become his queen. Xiao Xiao drove directly to Yinran's house. It was the weekend, and Yinran should be at home. Xiao Xiao originally wanted to give her a surprise, but when he entered the door, Mama Yin told him that Yinran had gone to the office early in the morning. After asking for the address, Xiao Xiao turned around and ran to her office. He had never been there before. When he got out of the elevator and entered the office, he saw Yinran lying on a very large table, writing something. Xiao Xiao entered the door quietly and didn't make a sound. His heart and eyes were full of people who were working seriously at this moment. There was a large piece of paper on the table in front of Yinran. There were words and drawings on it in various colors. Yinran took a ruler and measured it seriously. Then, she walked to the wall and looked at the drawings on the wall. Then, she looked at a series of reports on the other wall. Then, she walked to the table and connected 2 lines with a color pen. At the same time, she put a question mark on the upper left corner. It was already early summer. The sun shone through the window and wrapped Yinran's slender body in it. Her black hair was tied up in a high ponytail. At this time, there were a few strands of hair on her slender neck. The silky black hair made her porcelain skin look even whiter. Her eyebrows and eyes were delicate. Usually, her face was as calm as water, calm and wise. But when she was in Xiao Zhao's arms, she was so charming and moving. The goddess in Xiao Zhao's heart should be like this. Xiao Xiao leaned against the door and looked at Yinran working seriously. Every change in her figure, frown, or pout became the most beautiful scenery. Others said that a man who worked seriously was the sexiest, but Xiao Xiao had to say that a woman who worked seriously was the most attractive. When Yinran finished a part of her work and wanted to pick up the cup to drink some water, she realized that the tea in the cup was already cold. She stretched her body. Because of that, her jade-like waist attracted Xiao Zhao's eyes. Xiao Zhao's eyes deepened. When Yinran turned to go out to get some water, Xiao Xiao struck a pose that he thought was the most handsome. Then he forcefully barged into Yinran's eyes. A sudden surprise made Yinran's face bloom with the most beautiful flower. That was from the bottom of her heart, the joy of seeing the person she loved. The sunlight filled Yinran's face, and Xiao Xiao opened his arms wide, looking at her dotingly. Yinran did not say anything, and just happily ran into Xiao Zhao's arms. The two of them hugged each other tightly. It had nothing to do with lust. It was just a kind of mutual longing that finally received a response. A glance of 1,000 years of love silently flowed between the two of them. Chapter 236. There was only Yinran in the whole office. Xiao Xiao looked at the several rooms in front and behind. They were small and chic, and the decoration was refreshing. Although it was not as stylish as his star entertainment, it was also small, but it had all the essentials, and had a different flavor. Yinran, you're capable. You've arranged this place in an orderly manner. Have you given the company a name? Xiao Zhao's eyes showed appreciation. This is not a company. This is a place where I deal with my daily affairs. I collected a lot of information. I can't spread it out at home, and my mother will be worried. I simply said that I opened a company outside, so that they can feel more at ease. Xiao Xiao, look, I have drawn the entire map of the Eastern aristocratic family. Yinran took Xiao Zhao's hand and pointed to the huge map on the wall. At this time, Xiao Xiao saw that it turned out to be a relationship chart headed by the Eastern aristocratic family. The key managers and actual controllers were drawn on the chart, and the other chart was about the introduction of each person's life and their position in the Eastern aristocratic family. Next to it was a chart showing each company's main business, profitability, assets and various financial conditions in recent years. Xiao Xiao looked at so many charts and text, and from the bottom of his heart, a kind of admiration for Yinran rose. Yinran, you did all this? You're amazing. Don't praise me. This is not what I want. People are forced. I'm sorry for you. This is my own choice. I didn't expect you to be involved. Yinran said with a little apology. Yinran, what are you talking about? Why are you treating me like an outsider? Well, I won't say polite words. When did you come back? Why didn't you tell me, so that I could pick you up? Yinran pulled Xiao Xiao to her face and said with a smile. I just wanted to give you a surprise. The whole movie was wrapped up yesterday. I originally wanted to come back last night, but the crew wanted to have a celebration dinner, so I could only change it to an early morning flight. Our family's Xiao Xiao is so awesome. He has already finished filming his first movie. When the time comes, I will definitely go and watch the premiere. Yes, yes. Xiao Xiao nodded vigorously. Xiao Xiao, there is one more thing that I need your help with. Yinran pulled Xiao Xiao to sit on the sofa. Look at how courteous you are. You should have instructed me directly. Xiao Xiao, go and do that. Yinran smiled. This matter is more important. I'm afraid you won't agree. As long as your safety is guaranteed, I'm willing to do anything. Xiao Xiao patted his chest and promised. I haven't even said anything yet, and you're already using this sentence to stop me. Yinran's eyes curved as she glanced at him coquettishly. The end of her voice clearly had a hint of coquettishness. Xiao Zhao's heart swayed, and his head suddenly became hot. Yinran, just say it. Whether it's climbing a mountain of swords, or falling into a pot of oil, I'll do it. Unexpectedly, Yinran didn't say anything. Instead, she leaned over and hugged him. She gently kissed him on the lips and said in a low voice, Xiao Xiao, I want you to secretly take me to the library of the Eastern aristocratic family. Xiao Xiao immediately reacted. What? You want to go? It's too dangerous. No, I'll do it myself. Yinran already knew that he wouldn't agree. At this time, she didn't explain anything. Instead, she hugged and kissed Xiao Xiao. After kissing for a while, she found that Xiao Xiao closed his eyes and didn't move. He even muttered, Yinran, don't use this honey trap on me. I won't agree. She simply shook Xiao Zhao's arm and acted coquettishly in his embrace. Xiao, just take me there. No, definitely not. Xiao, you can do it. I won't drag you down. The coquettish, and sweet voice drilled into Xiao Zhao's ears. It was like a little bug that drilled into his heart. No, still not. Yinran hooked her arm around Xiao Zhao's neck and gently blew into his ear. Xiao, just promise me. Xiao Zhao's Adam's apple visibly moved up and down. He took a deep breath, and his ears turned red. Then, Yinran's tongue hooked Xiao Zhao's earlobe. Again and again, Xiao Xiao immediately tensed up. Then, Yinran's seductive voice sounded. Xiao, do you miss me? If you promise me, I'll listen to you. Xiao Zhao's eyes were tightly shut, but his trembling eyelashes exposed his restless heart. Who did Yinran learn this from? She was 2F** king seductive. Was she testing his willpower? Xiao Xiao was in a dilemma in his heart. One voice said no, it was too dangerous. Another voice said, let's give in. And Yinran was still whispering in his ear. Xiao, do you not want me? Then, her soft tongue forcefully drilled into Xiao Zhao's ear with tenacity. Xiao Zhao's brain instantly went blank. All thoughts of agreeing or not were thrown to the back of his mind. At this moment, a man's instincts took over. Hormones rushed to the top of his head. All words were superfluous. At this moment, there was only one word. Do it. He only wanted to take Yinran to the peak of desire. The yearning of the past few months had all turned into action at this moment. The entanglement of their lips and tongues, the entanglement of their necks, was like a confession and also like a punishment. How could this little mouth make such an unreasonable request? How could this little lilac tongue provoke such a strong desire? Xiao Xiao admitted defeat. In front of Yinran, he had no bottom line and no principles. Yinran was his queen. He just had to follow all her orders. At this moment, there was only one sentence repeatedly replaying in his mind. As long as he agreed, Yinran would listen to everything he said, and Yinran only had time to say half a sentence. Xiao, this is the office. Then, she was instantly drowned by Xiao Zhao's craziness. Xiao Xiao brought her along in the huge waves of the sea. They swayed and rolled. It was calm and peaceful, and they enjoyed the sunbathing on the sea. From time to time, huge waves would rise. Their passion could burn the entire sky. Yinran felt that Xiao Xiao had a very good grasp of the rhythm. Knowing that she could not take it anymore, he would let her rest for a while, and then let her receive the next wave of nourishment. The small sofa could not fit the two of them at all. From the beginning to the end, the two of them were stacked together. They just had to complete the yearning of the past few months on this small sofa. Yinran was sweating profusely. Her hair had long been scattered by Xiao Xiao. His 10 jade-like fingers liked to comb her thick hair. Unknowingly, their clothes had long disappeared. Yinran also tried her best to cooperate with Xiao Xiao, cooperating with his various bottomless requests. Yinran's face was red. In this broad daylight, everything in front of her was so clear. Touch, sight, hearing, and taste all gathered together. Yinran only knew that an entire century had passed in a daze. After it was done, Xiao Xiao panted heavily and lay on Yinran's shoulder. Yinran, if you seduce me like this again in the future, my whole life will be on your shoulders. At this moment, Yinran was so tired that she did not want to speak. Her hands were sore, her mouth was sore, and the astringent feeling in her mouth made her feel ashamed. After a while, she heard Xiao Xiao repeat what he had always said. Yinran, I really can't wait. When will you marry me? On our big wedding night. I want you to be the happiest woman in the world. In the space, Kong Ming and Kong Xiaoming were already reciting the mind-cleansing mantra. Their faces were red from Xiao Zhao's bottomless actions. The two of them simply covered their heads with their clothes and stuffed paper in their ears. However, the two of them were still communicating with their eyes. Look, this is the real deal. Just now, when he was treating Yi Xuanfei, he was so disdainful. But when he was treating this, he was really doting on her. Even such a dangerous request like going to the Eastern aristocratic family's library was agreed to by Xiao Xiao. She's really a femme fatale. Her beauty is really alluring. Ah Xiao, I want to take a shower. My body is so sticky and uncomfortable. After a long time, Yinran finally found her voice. Xiao Xiao kissed her lightly on the lips. Come, let's go home. Yinran glanced at her office. It was a mess. It seemed that she would not be able to work today. She was also exhausted. She should take a break. After the two of them cleaned up and ate a big meal prepared by Uncle Wu, they could finally sit down and talk about business. Yinran, why must you go to the Eastern aristocratic family's library? It's really dangerous there. What are you looking for? Can't you tell me? I'll help you find it. Xiao Xiao hugged Yinran in his arms and tried to persuade her again. No, Ah Xiao. I've studied it. Although the refining process of the spiritual transformation pill is very detailed, it's missing the most important point. It's how to communicate with it. These ancient pills follow the ancient method. After refining them, they will form their own consciousness. If you want to cure it, then you must communicate with it, and it has to be willing to cure it for you. So we have to return to the library and refine pills there. Only then can we truly refine the antidote for the spiritual transformation pill. So I have no choice but to go. Yanran looked into Xiao Zhao's eyes and said seriously. Xiao Zhao suddenly recalled that night in the library. He had been mesmerized by a kind of fragrance. Then he saw a celestial alchemist surrounded by a group of small animals. In the end, after the pill was refined, that slender jade hand reached out towards him and was about to feed it into his mouth. Xiao Zhao suddenly quivered. Could that be the spiritual consciousness of the spiritual transformation pill? Yanran's eyes sparkled. If it's like what you said, then it should be her. I was only guessing. I didn't think it would be like this. Xiao Zhao, it looks like we have to make this trip. Xiao Zhao sighed. Yanran, the Eastern aristocratic family really has a deep foundation. There are many experts in it and many traps. Just its circulation formation alone is enough to make many people flinch. I don't agree with you going, because I'm really worried that I can't take care of you. Forget it, if this trip is necessary, I'll do my best to protect you. Yanran snuggled into Xiao Zhao's arms. Ah Xiao, I owe you in this life. What are you talking about? I just hope to get rid of these bastards as soon as possible, and let my Yanran become a high and mighty goddess again. But Yanran, if we want to enter the Eastern aristocratic family, we might have to use Yi Xuanfei. Last time I accidentally entered the library. I don't know if I'll be so lucky this time. We have to get Yi Xuanfei's facial recognition data. I don't think this will be difficult. Ah Xiao, aren't you going to have dinner with Yi Xuanfei tomorrow night? We can take this opportunity to get the 3D data of her face. Xiao Xiao suddenly stuttered. Yanran, how did you know I was going to have dinner with her? That you're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.